luck, Coops.
Espero y disfrutes tu tiempo libre cuando te mandemos para casa.
Jeez, I'm so popular today. I think all this time wasted talking trash will be better spent on target practice. Bang, bang.
Olá, eu sou o Gelx da Hard Sports e venho representar o Brasil nessa PMGC.
E aí, rapaziada, eu sou o Foxzinho, jogador da Black Dragon.
E aí, galera, eu sou o Revo, jogador da Alpha 7 Sports.
Eu acho que viemos muito forte para essa PMGC, temos um conjunto diferenciado.
Soy Marco de Team Queso y como campeones de la TAM no tenemos problema en meterle una bala a los 4.
Hola, soy Fernand de Bullock Chapter y dicen que Team Queso tiene buen juego, pero no van a ser capaces de tener mis balas.
E o recado que eu posso dar a eles é que a Alpha 7 é muito forte para esse mundial e tomem cuidado.
Alpha 7 es un equipo bueno, pero Furu Gaming de Chile viene a darle vacaciones a cada uno de ellos.
Concordo que a Alpha 7 pode vencer, mas nós também podemos. Também tem possibilidade de ganhar. A Alpha 7 também, e eles podem voltar para casa mais cedo.
Concuerdo, nosotros por nuestra parte estamos buscando mejorar el rendimiento de las veces pasadas. Supongo que con 3 chicken dinners por día vamos a estar bien.
Nós falamos poucos e mostramos dentro do jogo tudo.
No hay problema, los veremos en el campo de batalla.
Hi everyone, I'm Coops from the Knights from the United States. Bring your best game to the tournament and we'll show you what it really means to pop off.
Hi, I'm Tensa from North America, and I just wanted to say that getting too relaxed can usually have teams leaving you in the dust, so I would suggest cooling it down a little, buddy.
I'm J7 from Exet, and we upgraded our team on all fronts, and we were ready to rock this PMGC.
Oh, me tienen tan asustado. No soy una persona polémica, pero sí sé mucho sobre los chicken dinners. Yo soy Asta, de la élite de Aton Esports, pero no pido mucho esta vez. Solo pido un pase a la gran final.
I'm aiming for top 3.
Top 3? Sorry, bud. Plan for a little disappointment. Cool your head a little. The top 4 are gonna be the people who truly deserve it.
Oops, tu puntería es buena, pero la mía es mejor. ¿Te importaría poner un lugar de encuentro en el siguiente mapa? Estaría feliz de darte unas clases sobre el PUBG Mobile.
We'll see who winds up on my highlight reel. Have fun and enjoy the game.
Nice. Queremos dizer que a gente vem muito forte para essa West League e a gente vai buscar defender o nosso país y trazer ese título para el Brasil.
Estamos estudiando nuestros oponentes para la final, así que diviértanse en la fase de grupos.
Nosso time está bem confiante com todo o preparo que fizemos durante esse ano.
Lo que tengo para decir es que se preparen de la mejor manera, porque en la historia de PUBG Mobile, en el competitivo, en los mundiales, por ahora sigue siendo el puesto más alto que tenemos con Team Queso. Y ese va a ser así por um largo tempo.
Eu acho que tudo que pode acontecer durante o jogo é bem relativo e não existe uma certeza.
Si nos encontramos en la partida, no nos disculparemos por haberte asesinado.
Gosto da sua confiança, não chore quando você voltar para casa mais cedo.
Also have a few more words for Coops and Knights. If you come anywhere near us, there's gonna be 4 easy kills. Don't come near us. Right, Kill Switch?
Well, actually, to be honest, the strongest teams are all gone. The closest thing to us is Coops. Good luck, Coops.
Espero y disfrutes tu tiempo libre cuando te mandemos para casa.
Jeez, I'm so popular today. I think all this time wasted talking trash will be better spent on target practice. Bang, bang.
See them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage, but Frozen cooking a grenade. Yeah, looks like Alpha 7 already going to be down a member, so we kind of see them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew he f***ed up.
Frozen cooking a grenade, tossing a grenade. It looks like it bounced off that little...
Did the clotheslines. He does have his teammates though in the back lines. But what I'm wondering is they have clear line of sight on Poland's position.
Oh God, please, no! No! No!
Oh, dude, what the hell?
up. This is a highlight from that previous map. How
They're just running right up. March with that information instead of moving further forward. Now the problem is for a team like Rise is yes they can play well. I mean, production, please stop the savagery. I mean, Rise.
Danny, ready for extract.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
What is going on, everybody? PMGC 2021. West side is the best side. We are bringing it back. League play. Everybody starting from zero. Mustache Dave 7. Glitter over there. How's it going? How's it going, analyst?
I love you, Dave.
That was a great intro, Dave.
Glitter
West
and I
side,
are
the
both
best
cracking up here because we love you, brother. We love the attitude. I'm feeling that way, too. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are going to be feeling that way, too. Glitter. Especially some teams that didn't even make it to the Super Weekend. Boy, it's going to be interesting what's going to be happening here this week.
Yeah, we were talking about that a lot towards the end of the Super Weekend. By the way, we all kind of coordinate a little bit, and I love it. We look great. Okay, kudos. You're all looking fly. But no, you're right, 7. I mean, specifically, I'm keeping my eyes on Exet and Queso this week. They have a lot to make up for after not making it into that first Super Weekend, so you know that they're going to be battling even harder because now they got to play catch-up. Some of our teams did really, really well over the Super Weekend.
Exet looking to rep that set. Before we get into that, just in case this is your first time tuning in, let's check out the format. Let's see how the cookie crumbles out here. Like we talked about, league play Tuesday, Wednesday, Super Weekend Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Top 16's the goal for the finals. Ton of money on the line. 7, real quick, like talking about last league play, surprises. Were teams getting the points that they needed to get? I don't know. What should we expect today?
It's going to come down to some of those teams that didn't make it. As Glitter kind of hinted at it, I'm going to be looking very closely at Exit. I'm going to be looking very closely at Team Queso, Besiktas, also Blue Chapter, all those teams that need to kind of make it to the next Super Weekend. They don't want to be 2 Super Weekends down. That's just a horrible position you're going to put yourself in. So those teams are the ones that I'm going to be looking at closely. Exit, I'm going to be looking to see what kind of style they're going to be playing. Last week of league play, in case you weren't here, we saw Ghost Gaming kind of be towards the second page, and they were just playing for placement, and they were just playing for points pretty much. And then on the Super Weekend, we saw completely different Ghost Gaming. So I want to see the game styles, Dave. I want to see how these teams are going to come out.
Talking about game styles here, Glitter, I gotta ask you. You're the coach. You're in the shoes. You're the coach of Exet.
Okay.
You're in the locker room here. You're pumping them up. What is the game plan as the coach for Exet? What do you want them to do here today?
Oh, okay, this might be a little bit toxic, all right? But if it's me and I am coaching Exet, my sights are going to be set on those teams that finished in 14th, 15th, 16th from the Super Weekend, okay? Those are the teams that I want to try to take out or farm as much as possible because those are the teams that have created that point threshold that they have to pass going into the next Super Weekend. So if they can remove them from the equation nice and early and kind of give themselves a little bit of breathing room when they make it into the Super Weekend, that's the ideal situation.
Heck yeah, looking for them bottom teams. We're looking at SMB, we're looking at Navi, we're looking at Football List, and even Aton, who didn't really pop off here during this last Super Weekend. Talk about popping off, though. They were popping bottles. S2G, 7, S2G, like, where'd they come from?
I don't think we ever seen that kind of a dominance, right? And it was a dominance that it wasn't just like one-sided in a way that they were just getting chicken dinners. It was the way they were able to scrap some of the other points even when they didn't even get chicken dinners. This team showed us, especially this Super Weekend, something that I was mentioning. They showed us everything. They showed us hot drops. They showed us what they're able to do when adversity comes to them, when they're not in the circle, how they're able to grind their way into the final circle, secure some extra elims, secure some extra points. And then on top of that, to pull like the cherry on top, they just decided to absolutely pop off and get 5 chicken dinners and back that up with 105 limbs. I mean, this team just impressed me so much that at one point I said I wouldn't be surprised if we see S2G being in first place after all 3 Super Weekends.
Yeah, very interesting. S2G really at the top, and here's a nice little breakdown, Glitter. Anything sticking out to you here?
I mean, obviously, we got to talk about S2G, not only because of their overall total, but because of how even that split is. Okay, the fact that it is 50-50 essentially with their placement points versus their eliminations. I mean, that's just perfection, right? Okay, they're not leaning one way or the other. They're aggressive, but they're still placing really high, and that is the recipe for success here. But then we're looking at the second page, and these are the squads that you mentioned, Dave, that I had brought up. Those teams towards the bottom. Okay, looking at Navi, looking at Footballers, looking at SMB and Atan. I mean, we saw all of these squads have solid engagement over the Super Weekend, but it just wasn't enough when going up against some of these other teams. And right now, 57 points, right? That's what, hypothetically, any of the 4 teams that sat out this last Super Weekend would have to make in order to play catch-up.
Y'all talking about cherries, y'all talking about splits. Got me thinking about banana splits, and I'm getting a little hungry out here, just as a side note. But here's the Erangel, Sanhok, and then Erangel. 3 Erangels here. Last week, I believe we had Erangel Miramar. Should we expect a different kind of vibe here in tonight's lobby because of the 2 Sanhok maps?
Yes, sir. We're looking for hot drops. We're looking for craziness. We're looking for teams that maybe didn't get a chance to kind of show off last week to take advantage of all the mayhem. And something that I'm definitely going to be looking at that we didn't really get a chance to mention on that leaderboard is I'm impressed by Fenerbahce. I mean, this team, 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the only team on the first page without any chicken dinners. That is just pure consistency. Obviously, this is league play. We always talk about how different it is here, right, Glitter? How people might play a little bit different. But with Sanhok, I know you and I love Sanhok, and I know Dave does too. I want to see some hot drops again.
Listen, I'm looking at Brazil, okay, Seven? It's Sanhok. We know how comfortable Brazil is with Sanhok, with that aggression, that style of play. So those are the squads that I'm keeping my eyes on.
Well, talk about keeping your eyes on. Mustache Dave has his eyes on the OnePlus. The OnePlus with flagship performance, immersive 120 Hz display, the HyperTouch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. That's your best shot of climbing up these leaderboards. And talk about climbing up these leaderboards today. Leaderboards, fresh start, 0. Everybody, waking up, first day of school, feeling prepared. They got the new shoes on, the new pants on, the new fit, pretty much. It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. Personally, I'm looking at Navi to really clap back. I'm looking at Navi to really take advantage of the fact that everybody's on an equal level playing field and hopefully counterbalance what they experienced last week with a 7-7.
Yeah, and something that I would love to see out of Navi is how they're going to readjust with Erangel. I mean, we're going to be playing Sanhok. Once we get to Super Weekend, we're going to be playing Miramar, if they even make it there. But the main thing I kind of want to point out in Erangel, and something that I started seeing happening more and more, especially on Sunday as well, was that it wasn't just Alpha 7 kind of challenged him coming out of their drop. It was also now Footballers. You had Footballers trying to kind of just camp them a little bit, seeing how they were going to react, and forcing Navi to just do a completely different rotation than what they're used to. I'm looking for Navi to be that scary team. So this teams like Alpha 7 and Footballers, Glitter, they're not just looking at Navi and saying, oh, wait, you know what, let's just camp it. They're probably going to give us kills or something here, because this is not the Navi that we're used to seeing.
No, I mean, we've seen quite a few squads, or over the Super Weekend we did, kind of go for those hot drop fights off the rip. We saw Ghost and Supermassive Blaze going up against each other a few times as well. So, I mean, you asked for hot drops. We've got more Sanhok. Maybe we might get it here in League play.
Oh, man, it's going to be a spicy day. And kind of to turn the attention from teams to individual players, I kind of want to get your thoughts here on any star players that we saw last week. Personally, Coops, we saw him popping off here and there, but not to what a lot of people from North America would expect here. So let me get your thoughts here, Glitter.
It's a good question, because I feel like obviously the easy answer, you could pretty much pick any of the S2G players. And what's crazy about that is we did see some head-to-heads over the Super Weekend where that the team contribution percentages were very evenly split for this squad. So everyone's really pulling their weight over there, which is incredibly impressive, because on the flip side, you're talking about the likes of Koopsen and that typical, night situation. Koops is the one that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but now even in the win that we did see the Knights get over the Super Weekend, they too started really kind of evening out those numbers. So I actually think we might get a little bit of a clean slate reset. I mean, you've been talking about new fit, new week, everything is reset. All these players can kind of start from scratch here. So I might be looking, I think I might just be on the Brazil train today. I'm not gonna lie, I might be looking at some players from A7 to pop off.
Oh, hold up a second. You're talking about A7. I like that. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ship, though. I'm going to stay in the Americas, but I'm actually going to go a little bit north. I'm going to go all the way to NA, and I'm going to be talking about Ghost Gaming. The player that I'm going to be looking at is HH24. That man had an amazing day one of Super Weekend, which helped his team so much. So I want to see how he's going to be able to do. Obviously, league play, we saw how Ghost Gaming played last weekend. I want to see if they're going to maybe stay with the same strat here on weekend league play and just try to go for those placement points. Don't really worry about those elims. But HH24, if that boy can pop off, this is a completely different Ghost Gaming team.
I don't know. It's going to be a challenge because Glitter made a great point a couple moments ago about these contested drop spots. Ghost Gaming, one of these teams that we saw all last week with the rotating lobbies, they were getting dropped on from SMB, one of those teams. And I believe they came out on top one of the times, but I think they got wiped out two of the times previous to that. So I kind of asked this question last week when I was here in the hot seat. Early game fights, aka hot drops. Should we get them here today in game one? The simple fact with the rotating lobbies, I'm going to go with yay. Let me get a yay or nay. That's it, just a yay or nay.
Maybe it's not even a question. Yay. I want to see hot drops. I love seeing nay. Really?
I want to see
How?
them. I don't think the squads are going to do it right out the gate on this first game.
That was the question I wanted to pose next, because we did see these teams last week experience these contested drop spots. Should we expect them today to kind of counter that and maybe go to a secondary drop spot?
See that, and that's what I was alluding to, Dave, with Navi, with them getting contested now. Not only when they drop with Alpha 7 being so close, but now also football is kind of just going up on the bridge towards the east of George Bull. I want to see if Navi's going to finally change that rotation, and then that's just Erangel. And then when we go to Sanhok, Glitters, one of the teams that I'm going to be looking at again is going to be SGG and Ghost Gaming, because they just kept dropping on each other on Paradise Resort.
Yeah, and we saw the results of that in our Sanhok match on the last day as well. I mean, yeah, God. I know you guys, listen, I'm on board with being an agent of chaos with the two of you. I like I said, I want to see them, but I think now that we've got a full week of play done, right? We've got the league play done, we've got the Super Weekend done. So these teams are now figuring each other out. They are a little bit more comfortable. There's no more start of the season jitters or anything like that. I think they might rein it back just a little bit.
Bring it back, rein it back. I don't know. I'm kind of on that boat, like you said, the agent of chaos here. I want it. I want the hot drops. I want the spicy action, and I want these teams to really use today with the 0 points to try to have a pop-off performance and really get a nice lead ahead of everybody else. Because the goal here, top 16 for league play, and then you make it to Super Weekend. We got 7. We got Glitter. You got Dave. I'm gonna be here all day. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 1, let's go!
That's right, Dave. We're headed into the first match of the second week on Erangel, the Green Rolling Hills, myself, Highland Wolf, joined by Hot Jukes for the first game. Welcome to the tournament, man. It's been a little hot minute.
Woo, baby! What's up, Big Papa? Oh, man, it feels good to be back, dude. Just add a little sprinkle of hype. The PMGC. So, dude, this has been insane, right? First of all, I was on a little vacation, so I missed the first week. Now, why don't we just pretend, right? Like I didn't see anything for viewers who are maybe just jumping in, right now. So why don't you go ahead and give me a quick little recap of what you are expecting to see here.
Okay, so we're gonna hit some hot takes, okay? And we're gonna say that Navi, a little bit of a disappointment. It's been a team diff in Navi in that first week. I'm just gonna say it, but we got high hopes. We got high hopes in the second week for them, because it's S2G that you see on your screens. Jukes, they've been on form, they've been on fire when it comes to that first Super Weekend, topping so many points. But in that first Super Weekend, they got over 200, got 211 points specifically there. I mean, they stomped their lobby.
Oh, yes, they did. Speaking of stomp, look at this. Looks like we got a little bit of a hot drop here to start things off. And it looks like Exit Polo gonna go ahead and pick up that UMP. Trying to get some shots downfield. Doesn't see anything just yet. But oh man, these two squads are just way too close for comfort here.
Yeah, except of course one of these teams, right, that didn't make that first Super Weekend, Duke. So actually, as a result, they've got a lot on their shoulders coming in. I think it was a slight disappointment coming in from Exit in those first couple of days. A little bit of nervousness, you could say, where they used to hold these positions, these great positions in the map, but every time a team would approach them, they would always give up those positions to the other team. They'd always try, say, we don't want to fight, we want to try play for position points, but then have to get their hands dirty. You can't be afraid when it comes to PMGC, and I'm hoping that change comes through. But for Fenerbahce, on the opposite end of the spectrum, they have also, like S2G, been so dominant in that first Super Weekend, and I think a surprise, considering what we could have assumed were some of those favorites like Na'Vi, like A7, and Ghost Gaming slightly further below them.
Yeah, I mean, Fenerbahce chilling big in third place right now with 152 points. Exet, like you mentioned, they have to pop off here. They have to make sure that they make it into the second Super Weekend. They're honestly already extremely behind, just missing one by itself. And to be honest with you, regardless of how this ends up, this is horrible. I mean, this is why we see a lot of squads just land so far apart from each other. Oh, J7 full sends it on in, gets bodied, and the rest of his squad's going to have to come in. Here comes Killswitch, going to try to get an assist going on here. Try to help his buddy out. Oh, he's got the DPS.
But he's got a nade as well. He's got a nade. He's looking to explode some Fenerbahce members. They have banned one, of course. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and I'll take Doku Machine out as well.
Jay with the shots does help and get the assist, and they are going to get the flush, so it looks like Exet is going to come out on top of this one and starting to assert that dominance, say, hey, this is where we land. This is where we land, Fenerbahce.
I mean, Exet, you wanted to see it come through from him here, but he needed to step up. We've had 3 days to watch these people play. Couch warming as they watched their chances in that first Super Weekend going into the next, getting so much harder for them, and they need these kills. They need to actually show us that they can be that aggressive team. So, of course, stepping out strong for NA, but when you look towards that NA first seed, of course, PMGC points qualifier Ghost, who sat out, of course, through the entirety of summer, they came in like fire when it came to that Super Weekend too. I think the league stage days was a slight disappointment for Ghost. You have to admit, that first game they walked in onto the PMGC, they got annihilated by Team Queso, and then now actually when they stepped up in those weekend matches, they were actually taking games, they were taking those chicken dinners as well, here and there, grabbing one win. And actually I think that Ghost, if we can see them play to that form and keep that consistency coming on, they're a big surprise considering that they, as we say, haven't played in that summer split, and now coming into the autumn, the winter side of the PMGC in the global stage, they had to really prove themselves.
I disagree. You know, I think that when it comes to Ghost, I like to call that tactical throwing. Wolf, right?
Oh, I see.
Right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that they are like,
I see what
I think they're 300 IQ. I think Beowulf, he's got some secret sauce up his sleeve, perhaps borrowed from Mustache Dave, because he is the sauce boss, right? Well, when it comes to Ghost, they missed out on Americas, right? Well,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say, right? They're like, hey, you know what? We don't want to give the other squads any more information than they need.
Oh,
you know,
I
and then
see.
you know, league play day. Let's just play it soft, make sure we qualify, and then Super Weekend, where the big money is made, we'll start popping off, and that's what they did.
Oh man,
that's what they did.
That's like 10,000 IQ, Dave. That's more
saying.
than 300. That's like, that's too much for me. My brain's too small to handle that one.
That's a lot.
And that's too many numbers for me. It goes on 9,000, Dave. As we do see for Lucha Tan. Also, of course, alongside Team Queso, some of these teams who, again, didn't qualify, and for, of course, a little bit of that heads up, it was also decided of. So, of course, Exet, you've got Blue Tan, you've got also, as we said, Team Queso. And when you look towards, again, that more other team there, of course, coming in, would be Besiktas Esports, one of those teams that I'm really looking towards actually seeing a little bit more, because I think actually these 4 teams who came and didn't actually come into that Super Weekend, I saw some good stuff coming in on that Super Weekend. I mean, I think if any, we're probably looking towards Team Queso potentially being that team coming forward and potentially getting into that Super Weekend. They show that dominance, and I want to also see even that surprise factor, because that dominance coming through that we have seen and we have showed so far, well, how are we going to translate that through onto Sanhok? Because these teams, keep in mind, they haven't played a single match of Sanhok so far in the PMGC.
No, Sanhok's gonna mix things up a lot. I'm glad that I came back, you know, on the day of Sanhok, where Papa Blue is king, because I want to see just
It's
the
your
chaos.
effect, Dave.
Oh man, I mean, it is just so insane to see, because there's going to be a lot of pressure coming on from all these squads, and for me, it's a huge surprise to see Xset and Team Queso not qualify. I mean, Team Queso, the skills that both of these squads have, for them to miss out on just one super weekend alone is honestly, I still am just like, wow, how is that possible? So we know the capabilities of both of these teams, right? These are teams that have played at the highest level before. How are they going to adapt to it and change to be able to make up that loss of one super weekend? That's what I'm really interested to see. Because there's just too much money on the line here. Too much money on the line to not pull out all the stops.
There's a chance, though, to be fair. You look at some of those teams right from the Super Weekend. I mean, those bottom 4 teams, at least only 36 points with Natis and Sia. I mean, coming forward, I think that's a really slight mistake coming in. I think that we are now looking towards, well, what can these teams really do to also not only make it in for the first Super Weekend, how about some of those teams who also did very poorly in that first day? Because actually, as a result, it's been overall, I think, not the best for some of these squads. You're looking now at how can the teams like Navi, how can the teams like, of course, those further down, like Aslan, who showed himself up inside that league stage, step up in that second week? Because actually, for them, I think that we need to see more. And I think, to be fair, we've seen that problem lie therein from the rest of the PMGC in those league days, in the Super Weekend, where they actually haven't been able to step up to, of course, that pressure. I mean, you talk back towards Navi, right? One of those teams who coming back in onto the league stage, onto that Super Weekend, expected to be on form, but they were taking these split fights. They were making those solo plays, trying to make those work. But in the rest of the PMGC, in such a high caliber, you've got to be able to play as that team, and that teamwork, something that we were really looking forward to seeing improve in that second week.
Right, indeed. And, you know, maybe Navi trying to take a little page out of Nova XQF's book, you know, from the East. They love to play that split play, but they play like a team regardless. That is one of the most difficult strategies to pull off. Look at this. I mean, it looks like we got a little bit of a little car race here. The Knights running really close by to Furious Gaming. So many teams just trying to hurry on them over to the shelter spot. Looks like OP Dip is going to be taken by Furious Gaming. Knights going to be, you know, hitting themselves for that one. I mean, that's the level that we're at here at this tournament. Is your rotations have to be insanely fast, so quick, even the slightest delay, and another team's going to take your spot so quick.
Yep, as we do, of course. Take a look back at
You know what?
S2G and
Real quick.
What are we going to say?
S2G, yeah, when it comes to S2G, there's something that we haven't really talked about before, right? And I want to mention, I want to get your thoughts on this, right?
Okay.
Before,
hit me.
when it came to, you know, PMPL, we had some squads that had enough points, right, to make sure that they were going to qualify to the stage, right? So when it came to trying to hunt those teams down, you know, to make sure that they got knocked out of Americas or something like that, nobody wanted to do it because they knew that they were going to go no matter what. So they're like, hey, you try to camp us, we're going to camp you like crazy. You know, so there's a little bit of that, they had a little bit of a shield around them because of those points. Not here.
That's true,
you know?
that's true.
Not here.
Yeah,
not
here.
here. I mean, first place and second place, the difference is $217,000. You know, like that's
a lot of money, Dave.
That's insane. That's insane, dude. I'm Dave. That's right, dude. And,
Dave. Sorry, I said it. I'm too used to you.
You know what?
You're both from America.
I'm
just a Scotsman. Oh yeah, you should be like, yeah, we put it down.
That's right, baby.
Go full Dave mode.
But when it comes down to it, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked if you're gonna see some squads like want to get S2G out of a super weekend. I mean, it's totally possible.
I think that S2G is going to be a big step up for some of these teams to really annihilate that S2G that much to the point that they don't get into that Super Weekend. Again, you are looking towards trying to cancel out those who didn't make it into the first Super Weekend. Some of those, you could argue, weaker targets, and you could start to put them down in a second Super Weekend being missed and apply that pressure towards them. That's more feasible. But as we do head, of course, back into this week and to these specific games, that zone has gone further down, a little bit more towards that south side. Yasnaya Pollyanna heading down in towards those hills, Potato Hills, where all that congestion seems to be. And you are looking at actually Knights controlling that island compound in the center so strong. And I think that actually, if they can maintain control of that, it's going to be crucial for Knights' success. But the problem being is there are a lot of those players around, and it's going to be even more important as, of course, that zone has centered around them. And meanwhile, though, you can't ignore that side flank. Unicorns of Love and Black Dragons still at it, though. 1,100 meters. Jukes, they need to get a move on.
Oh, they have to get a move on now, but I mean, it's still pretty early in this circle. It's only zone number 2, so both these teams can disengage from this. They can eat a little bit of blue zone. They're going to be ridiculously behind. I think that's what they think. They think that by the time we get in the zone, we're going to have a tough time. So maybe we can try to get some kill points. But the second I say that, I think common sense has slowly crept in. You know, the tunnel vision is slowly starting to fade away, and they realize, you know what? We got to get out of the zone, dude. Let's get into the next circle, and then we can fight later. Oh,
yeah, of course they do. Pop Rokers. Oh no, he tried to get away. He tried to be a smart guy in this situation, but GC God had his number. And that's going to be one of Unicorns Love being firsted down. And of course, the rest of those Unicorns Love members, they are slightly further ahead of Black Dragons. So it's going to be still difficult for Black Dragons to actually get through the wall that is the Unicorns, unless they try to wrap themselves around that northern side more towards Pachinki. Is Team Queso. They just walk over Fenerbahce, though. Is Fenerbahce, they'll be the first out. First game of the second week.
Wow, Fenerbahce getting taken out. There's Team Kessel. I told you, they're starting to show up. You know, they're coming up, and they realize that's the third place squad. So for them, I think that this was really big for both Exet and for Team Kessel, right? Because this is that first game of the league play to get, you know, some really nice squad, you know, wipe action onto some of the top teams. That's got to feel really good. Not to mention, as a matter of fact, I believe Fenerbahce got taken out by both Exet and Team Queso, right?
Yeah, it's that aggressiveness that we're looking towards, right? Of teams who haven't made it in. They need to be able to pick up that pace. And I think that's a wake-up call, as we say, for that first Super Weekend, where they say now, well, we didn't get those points. We need to force somehow our hands to be able to get into the second week, where we're showing a little bit of our playstyle or not. These teams, they've already seen you play matches. They've been studying you for well before this tournament. They should know exactly how you play regardless. Play your own game rather than trying to play towards someone else, because at this point, you have to make it into that second weekend, because one Super Weekend, not good enough. Jigs, quite frankly, when it comes to getting into that top 16, it's going to be pretty darn impossible to do so. It's A7, Na'Vi, though, returning back to form. They spy each other up for what has been 100% of the games. I mean, this is something you've not seen yet. How'd you expect? This happens all too many times. And I think actually it's a slight mistake coming through from Na'Vi and A7, because they tend to actually annihilate each other in stopping themselves from getting points by taking these fights every single time against these two squads themselves.
You know what? I think part of it has to do with them doing exactly kind of what you said, though. I mean, that's their play style, right? Alpha 7 always playing that edge of circle. Looks like Na'Vi is hugging kind of a similar strategy, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at when it comes to start seeing play at the top level. You're going to see a lot of the same rotations, the same ideas, because they're all the best of the best, you know. But it's all about who can execute on those ideas just a little bit better, or who's just better that day, right? Because sometimes, you know, it all depends on just a little couple factors. And we're starting to see, you know, Na'Vi set up in a good position. Alpha 7 holding that edge as well. You're going to see a lot of squads just set up pretty here.
Yeah, when you're looking towards those positions, right, you've, as we said, Knights in the center, very strong in that island center. Point to the zone is mad. Will shoot down on Team Queso, but it is on that other side. You're looking actually towards the likes of footballers to have again that strong position. Heading forward into that slight dip, there is a slight underside to that hill coming in towards Knights, I think footballers can take advantage of. They can actually use that to try cover from fire from those on the south side, those from the north, and actually work their way forward into zone. So that more the eastern side of zone, that's feeling a little bit better to me compared to the west too. When those teams coming down from Potato Hill, I guess they've got a high ground now, but it's going to get pretty complicated moving forward. As they do find the shots on, at least one onto Black Dragons. Golden will be re-dived up, but except they can't find those shots further more into the blue.
Not sure exactly what Black Dragons was going for there. They had that big rotation just to pick up a buggy. I think they were trying to go for the save, but I think regardless, they had to realize that that player was gone and dusted. So very, very risky play, but they do end up surviving it for now. They're in a real terrible position, though. So Black Dragons are in a world of hurt. Ghost! Oh, and Alpha 7 getting into it. There goes Revo with some beautiful shots down, and that's Ghost eliminated.
Oh, but Ghost, A7, I'm sure not long for his world as well. Yes, Revo's finding those kills and kill feed now, but how can they fare when it comes to them also being in a little bit of a bad wear? Is also Xset up against Team Queso. Both of these teams having stellar performances, but this time it's Xset on top, and they'll take the first one, and they'll turn it right back over towards Lan and Exil. There's nowhere to run for them, as even Black Dragons pinch it off on the edge of the fight. They can't even third party this one. Xset, they got laser focus when it comes to this first game.
Oh, and here comes the spray from the side. Are they going to catch this last member? I don't think they do. They had to see him in this, and they get him caught and done. Polo, man, with a huge 1v1, ends up at literally half an HP. Comes out on top, and then the Xset finally started to make some noise here. 7 kills so far. Okay. The Xset repping that set big here in League Play.
Where was this though? Where was this due to the first week? Except we're running away from team fights, and now they're the ones engaging on top. They're the leader when it comes to kills. Yes, we expect the next Royer and A7 to be up there on kills too, but Exet was not the one that I had in my mind. Is there Black Dragons? Unfortunately, they'll bite the dust. Team Queso, another one will fall, but I think Team Queso, they're on the firing block next, because Exet, they're not quite done with them. They're still in that high hill as we do head back even to even more fighting versus Footballist and Next Royer, who, yes, Next Royer may be on top right now, but Footballist, another one of these teams who had to step up coming from that first Super Weekend, doing so already in this first game as well.
Footballist coming up big, and they're going to have to make a big rotation onto this next circle. The Knights are going to be the only one inside of it, so the PK sitting pretty. Alpha 7 get eliminated, top 11 squads, and we're just seeing chaos all over the place. Xset trying to rack up some more kills, but they're getting just third party from behind. Mad coming up. Agori's going to get the thirst, and Xset's reign has been stopped.
Oh no, that was a disastrous fight for Xset. They tried to go all for the one in the vehicle, but we never knocked them down, and then in behind came the rest of the Mad Bulls, and they wiped them through when they weren't even looking towards the Mad Bulls and their team coming in as Unicorns love. GK first also down. Lin will be soon to follow, and their Footballist as well on the opposite end.
Finish, get the finish. Beautifully done, Unicorns of love. Taken out right there. 8 teams remaining. Navi trying to bounce back as well. Trying to get some kills. They're still in this game. Putting some nice suppressive fire. They're just trying to hold angles, but they do lose a couple of members. Only one up left. Oh, and here comes the grenade. Is it going to be threaded? Is it going to be perfectly placed? It looks good. And, just off the mark.
Oh, but if that late landed. Oh, if only it now and landed. Jukes, that would have been a beautiful. That would have been a whopper one. I think that one might land. Dono's going to go wide as well. Kazuni's, he's trying to dodge out, but he's got no smoke road left, and there he goes. Navi, bit of dust is just down to, again, Eastern Stars. They control that slight dip. We talked about how strong it was entering in, and now we'll have that advantage. Is also Furious Gaming, another one of these teams who are edging the further way out towards the side of Eastern Stars, but on towards more of this western side. Mad Bulls amongst the problem, and now here we land. Phase 5, Jukes, everyone's starting to settle down. They're starting to get that position factor on board for the final few phases.
Man, dude, these fights are just so intense. It's crazy. Sometimes you know, back in the day, would see, you know, with circle number 5, we'll see almost everybody alive, but not here. I mean, the fights are just going out crazy, and that nade is gonna finish off the Mad Bull. So now we're in a top 6 situation. Baluk Chatan Reyes. Got that nade locked and loaded. Oh, but one had his name on it, and that is an eviction notice right there. Footballist are just creeping and crawling closer and closer, using that utility very, very well here at the edge of the circle.
Footballers, though, they had to watch their flank. Fonan is there, and he could start to shoot down a Ram. As yes, they will be traded. Not even traded 1-for-1. Berry finally goes. And Lutz in the backside will be the next to follow. Fonan does find a flank successful too. Loverson left alone. And now Footballers, here comes the cleanup. See the drive over. Won't find the shots for now, but still, keep in mind, who's been so quiet all this game is Knights. And when are Knights going to join in on this fight, Jukes? Because basically got all 4 players up. They need to wake up, though, because we're down to our final few teams in this zone. But Loverson is an eye on for a 3 target.
They got to come in quick. I mean, this next circle, they've got 16 seconds left on the clock. I think the Knights have been sitting pretty with their zone positioning, and they're going to sit a little bit prettier now because they're going to edge into this one very well. Lavazan from Footballers, at this point, he's just going for placement, just trying to survive, and it looks like Baluk Chaptan have now turned their eyes towards Furious Gaming.
Furious Gaming going to be the next to drop is Baluk Chaptan, also entering back from a failed Super Weekend. Now dicing up the lobby as Eastern Stars will be next to full. Furious Gaming, 2 for the price of 1 as they'll grab the 2 kills for themselves. And Knights, meanwhile, though, is actually back flank coming through from Alucard, who I think this will stop them from entering in, even though Baluk Chaptan were looking so good, right? You have Xenox now also entering up as well. It's that long-range support is coming in for wondrous effect for Knights as Baluk Chaptan now down 2.
Knights are controlling almost this entire circle with their positioning. All they have to do is just continue to apply the pressure, not play too split up, because if they do and get picked apart piece by piece, they'll be in big trouble. As long as they're able to work together, they should have this one in the bag. It's their game to win. And we can see the rest of these teams just still trying to pick up some points. Papi Potro, Furious Gaming, he's having to run in the wide open and no choice but to go down there.
Eastern Stars, they're going to make their move in the purple team, the purple car, they go. But they're going to hung that horn better because he needs to silence their enemies through with the sound of their gun. But Knights, they will have none of that. Better ones in the firing line. They're the firing squad here. Now taking your attention forward. Coops, Alucard, both sides. Shika coming up in the front line to support as well. Xenox keeping an eye on Baluk Chaptan. Footballist on the opposite end as they will find Kabahala. Alucard will take that kill. And Bazi, the only one there. Yes, he's got a slight protection with that hillside, but he can't go up in that nade. It looks on point and almost takes out Bazzi as a whole. And now coming forward, Bat will do it away. An extra shot, and Coops cleans up Eastern Stars.
That was beautifully done. Knights were running a little bit of a 2-1-1 split with all this, cover that they have, and it looked really pretty with them finishing off that side. Now they're going to be rocking the 3-1. And you're going to see Chico, Alucard, and Coops really start to apply the pressure. Oh, and you get the nice little trade. Actually, Coops gets the better end of that one. He's going to go ahead and get that first aid off. And, man, the Knights, it's all the Knights here. They should have this one back.
Yeah. This is their game to lose. You said, Jukes. The next phase goes towards them. They've been blessed into oblivion. It's now Baluk Chaptan, 1 remaining, and it looks like a 14-kill big chicken dinner game if I've ever seen one from the yellow squad themselves. It's nice to clean it up. There they go, and the Lions, they found their prey.
Let's go, baby. The Knights coming up big. Coop, considered, the MVP of the West. Him and his squad have got to be just pumped up after that. What's good to see the Knights coming in strong at a West team, especially, getting the big chicken dinner here at the start.
Rightly so. I mean, Knights have been so stellar inside that first Super Weekend, inside that first week, I think, as a whole. And it's great to see them enter back up into this form. But also, I've got a little bit of a question mark in the side of my head because they still got that issue, right? They had the zone given to them completely here. Chooks, what is it going to take for them to win a game when it's not given to them so easily?
Well, I'll tell you what. If this was a Super Weekend game, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't care.
29 points.
A win's a win over there. League play, it's great to see. I think it's good for their overall morale. And I'm hoping to see that this win kind of pump them up, get that fire going. So when those, tough circles, those tough positions come along, they're going to be able to kind of replicate the same. But it's going to be hard because, to be honest with you, at this level, a top squad, if they get the zone like that, they should be winning it 100% of the time, you know? But to still be able to get a top finish, regardless if you don't get zones or not, that's a championship team, and I want to start seeing that from the Knights.
Yeah, I think actually, yes, Knights stepping up strong, but actually it was these teams who, as we said, didn't make that first Super Weekend. And I think Baluchatan comes to mind when they're one of these teams, right, who looked abysmal, quite frankly, in some of their games in that first league stage week. But now, coming into the second week, they look like a completely different team once again. They have that positioning prowess to be able to sneak their way into that second place, but also, of course, nonetheless, to take those kills towards the end with that positioning. And I like to see that coming through from them. It's now a question, and can they keep that up? Because a lot of these teams, you can see in a way they're playing a lot hungrier, a lot thirstier for these kills compared to the more lash, more relaxed playstyle that we saw previously in that first week.
Yeah, well, we're seeing some of the teams that were kind of struggling in that first week start off pretty well. I mean, put in some decent points. You know, Team Queso had a nice fight at the start, but they get eliminated in 14th. That one had to hurt big time. We see the Knights just still dominating here as we look at these highlights. I mean, once they got that zone, once they got that position, they just cleaned up. Everybody was so busy worried about each other, and the Knights just came up and just said, hello, here we are. We'll take that chicken dinner from you.
Yeah, I think now, as we said, Nice coming out with strong on the gate, but who didn't come out strong, and that was actually some of our teams that we expected to do well as well, such as Fenerbahce. I think some of these squads who we want to see keep that consistency, right? Consistency is a word coming through on the PMGC, because when you look weak, I think some of these teams like Fenerbahce coming in on that first league stage day, maybe playing more relaxed, as we said, but also I think some of these other teams like Unicorns Alive, who we saw that aggression, not so good in this first game. Got to see how they perform in the future. But for now, going to head back to the analyst desk.
Yo, what's up, man? Is that Hot Jukes back from the yacht trip? First of all, he didn't invite us. All right, what is going on? We've been hanging with this dude for about 2 years. Where's our invite, Hot Jukes? The Hot Jukes yacht. Big sad, but let's talk about this game. Not big sad. The Knights, #1 spot after game 1.
You know what?
Glitter? Thoughts?
You know what?
We're speechless. We're speechless here.
I'm taking credit for this one, okay? That's what I was going to say. I'm taking credit for this one. We talked about Coops at the top of the show. I called the last day of the Super Weekend. I said that Knights were going to come out strong. Came out strong again here, so I'm going to pretend like that's carrying over as well. 14 eliminations for this first game. And the chicken dinner, I mean, that's a massive game for the Knights. However, 7, we talked about them saying that teams like football as Buluk Chaptan need to pick it up, and they're there at 2nd and 3rd place.
Buluk Chaptan, listen to me. I don't know what happened to the team. Just to put this into perspective, by the way, for everybody watching. Last week of league play, Buluk Chaptan ended up, I think it was with somewhere along the lines of 14 points total. Today, on the first game, they end up 15 points. This team is feeling the pressure, baby, and I'm all for it because I want them to be able to make it to that Super Weekend. We do have Alpha 7 here on the second page alongside with Navi and some of the other teams. But hey, I know Dave is going to be happy about tell him, Dave, who's the MVP?
Papa Coops! Papa Coops! All those people in chat say, hey, Coops, you washed? Nah, Coops, look at that. Look at the eyes right there staring in your soul like, I'm the MVP. I'm coming for that role. Happy to see Coops pop off game #1. 7 elims. That's half of the elim points from the team in total. That's huge.
It is. And I mean, can we talk about that damage too? 1K damage for him to be able to kind of convert that, right? Usually, Glitter, if we see 7 elims, I mean, we don't see this kind of conversion. At least it's very rare to see it. But then, if we talk about the head-to-head, there's 2. The dynamic duo that we've been talking for the longest time, even since NA Championships 2. Knights, Sanhok, being able to get 4 elims, 848 damage. I know this is weekly league play, guys and lady, but boy, am I getting excited for this. Just seeing these 2 duos right here, Glitter.
I mean, this is huge. Look at even down there at the bottom, the team contribution, almost 70% between just those 2 players of the contribution. So, I mean, that is, they're more than pulling their weight. Very, very strong way to start off the day for the Knights.
Yep.
Too good, too good. Oh, man. When I wake up and see Coops #1, that's it. You know, that's all I need in my life. So thank you, Coops, for that one. Now, talking about this game, though, we saw Xset. One thing to really talk about here, Xset I feel like they recognize, okay, we dropped the ball last week. They didn't qualify. This game, they got into multiple fights, I think, with Fenerbahce, Team Queso, and the Mad Bulls. 7, is this the X-Set we want to see here this week?
It is. I think it might have been Hot Jukes or Highland Wolf. I can't remember which caster said it, but they said it perfectly. They're saying X-Set is kind of marking their territory in certain maps, saying back off. Do not come near here. We usually see X-Set land more towards the east. For them to actually hot drop on Fenerbahce, that was a huge surprise. And for them to win that engagement, considering that Fenerbahce, that was a team that I talked at the beginning of the show too. Later, I was saying how consistent that team was able to do with no chicken dinners and all of that. But this is a huge statement, at least for me. X-Set sending a big statement, Glitter.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I mean, we called them out at the beginning too, saying they needed to do something here if they wanted to ensure their spot in the Super Weekend, haven't already missed out on the first one, and that they're another good example of starting off the day hot. And you guys, we're not even pointing out the fact that I was proven wrong. We got those early game hot drop engagements.
Yep.
Well, we did talk about Glitter being the hypothetical coach for X-Set here today, give him that pep talk before the games, and I gotta say, it worked out. And talk about working out here, I'm working out my brain because I gotta think about these teams that didn't have the best performance here in Game 1. I'm bringing this up because I'm a true believer in momentum, right? And everybody started with 0 points. You come into Game 1, you're feeling good. Remember, we talked about the outfit is fresh, it's clean, but then it's like you got those new shoes and you stepped in a pile of mud. Like, how do you come back from that?
Are you talking about Navi? Are you talking about Ghost Gaming, those teams that are currently sitting like with 1 point, 0 points? Man, I'm a huge believer also in momentum, and I'm not seeing anything from Navi. This is a completely different team. They didn't try anything different in regards to their drop as well. I thought maybe we were gonna be seeing something different since it was the first game we could league play. As you said, everybody starts off at 0. Might be the time to try something different, right? Navi said, you know what, we're gonna stick to it. Right now, it's not working, but Glitter, going with Navi here, at what point did they say, like, enough of this? This is not working. Let's go to plan B.
Okay, listen. Zute and I actually talked about this, okay, during the Super Weekend. And we talked about how important, not necessarily, I mean, I guess it is combined with the perseverance, but if you're doing something and it's not working, you need to figure out why. Obviously, don't keep doing the same wrong things over and over again, but your ability to learn from those failures and make those changes and then adjust and do better is massive. And if we've got a team who's not able to do that, it doesn't bode well. But I do appreciate that they're willing to continue trying it. They just need to figure out a way to make it work in their favor because, I mean, part of me does agree with you. There is a point where if it's just not changing, maybe they need to swap it up, but there is the story of, you know, the Nova squad over in China who did the same thing and they dropped for months until they got it right. So,
well, talk about swapping it up here, 7. Hold on, I gotta butt in here, man. Talk about swapping it up. We got the fan favorite, swapping it up. Go inside the esports center. And you can vote for your favorite teams. You can vote for your favorite players. And with that in mind, you log into the game. You watch the game live in the Esports Center. You share your votes. And if you're right, you unlock rewards. More info for this, of course, is inside the game. We can see those rewards right down there below at the bottom. And that's not all. That's not it. I got the buy one, get one free because the treasure box, the PMGC exclusive treasure box is also in the Esports Center. You get those tokens, you redeem it for the PMGC tournament outfit. A lot of stuff going on within the game, so make sure you check that out if you have not. But talk about checking it out. Next match, Sanhok. Glitter, what do we expect on Sanhok?
Okay, now listen, I know that A7 got taken out by the Knights in this matchup. They had a rough fight there, but the Knights were on fire. This is now A7's map. I'm still keeping my faith in A7.
A7 for Glitter. What about 7? Who you got?
I'm actually going to go with Navi. I want to see something out of Navi. I feel like this was a team that came in very at the top of my list. And I know this is weekly league play. I know it's only been one super weekend, but I'm not seeing that scary team that I'm used to seeing. And it kind of leads me to a conspiracy theory once again here for both of you. We did this back in America's Championship, and I'm going to do it here again, especially with the way Navi's playing. Do you think they're just kind of doing the bare minimum in a way? They're still collecting information from everybody. They're still making it to super weekend, right? Ultimately, that's all that matters. If they make it to 3 super weekends, more than likely they're going to be going to the finals, because some of the teams are going to be probably not doing that. With Navi, is it a thing of they're just not pushing all the way like they know they're capable of? They're still gathering information. They're preparing themselves. That's just a conspiracy that I'm throwing out there. I don't think it's happening, but you never know. It could happen.
What do you think, Glitter? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down. You know, I might have to disagree with you just a little bit based off of, you know, all of the past performances, but anything can change. It's still early, but not so early that these teams have much more time to really mess it up. You know, we've got to kick it in gear here. Okay, we've only got a couple days till the next super weekend, and these things go fast.
Yeah, and talk about kicking it in gear. On a positive note, I believe SMB, I think I saw right there, are going to be sitting out this match. So that's a good sign for Ghost Gaming. With that in mind, they should not be hot dropped here this game for that Paradise spot. So hopefully they'll be able to capitalize on that that fact right there. But I'm diving into Sanhok. I think it was A7 last week, if I'm not mistaken. They drop boot camp, they get their loot 2 minutes in the game and then move out, and they set up these traps along these maps, and they just wait for teams to kind of run past them. Then they spring the trap, they get the kills. 7, do we think teams learned their lesson last week the hard way, not to spring that trap and avoid that A7 trap?
It all comes, especially with A7, we saw it perfectly during Super Weekend 2. It kind of comes down which Sanhok circle we get, right? If the first circle is more towards the north, A7 is going to be forced to play more passive than what they're used to. If that circle goes anywhere towards the south, they're going to be that aggressive team, and they will be setting out those traps. In regards to teams being able to adjust to that, I mean, it's Sanhok, man. They get pushed out from all different directions. They have to be watching out. And by the way, in regards to Paradise Resort and Ghost Gaming, I think they might still have to worry about those hot drops, even though Supermassive Blaze is not playing here, because S2G is one of those teams that was hot dropping them on Sanhok as well. So it's not all over yet for Ghost Gaming.
Oh, man. So if they get hot dropped, man, by S2G, I think we can all say one of the best teams in the lobby just based off of last week alone. Real quick, Glitter, S2G, Ghost, they meet in Paradise. Who walks out alive? Give us a real answer. Give us a real answer. Who do you think?
I'm feeling Ghost today, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, Ghost Gaming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Will Ghost Gaming have to defend their Paradise Resort? We're going to find out right now, sending it to Sanhok.
We're here in the jungle. The rumble is beginning.
Oh man, I'm doing great, bro. I'm ready for this Sanhok game. I just can't wait to just hop into it. But talking about that previous Erangel game, Jake, I've noticed one thing. I mean, A7 dropped in Zarky, man, instead of dropping on the Northern Georgia pool side. And I don't really know why, because Navi should be one of those teams that should actually try and change their drop location. Instead, it's A7 changing it. I don't really get what's the kind of mentality behind it, but for now, it's going to be Ace2G and Ghost, as always, locking their horns in the Paradise Resort, and it's going to be tense to start things off.
Oh, stereotypical matchup here inside a hotel. And Ghost, they're looking to put the payment check onto S2G. But it's S2G who are ones firing back, although they've been knocked 2 now down. There's 2 left remaining for them in Ghost, who have lost 1. They're looking for that hot, sweet revenge from that last weekend where they got knocked in this exact location by S2G. But it's Ghost who loses second, and this is now turned back the table, and S2G in favor in this matchup. Is that nade doesn't land, and that's crucial there as Ghost. They also miss HH24, gonna miss out on the fire shots too. And now Ghost in some real trouble as revives come through from S2G.
Oh man, the revives do come through, and now S2G, both the players are back up on their feet, but they don't really have the HP supporting them. But on the other hand, Ghost, they're crumbling down one by one. Oh, this is not really looking good. Ghost, they want to make sure they're holding their ground as quick as possible. ASH24 finds one knockout and instantly confirms that. Just wants to make sure the next time he's not going to be able to get back up on his feet. Instantly gets the second one. Kelsey as well looking to confirm it. That's not going to be the case though. That drop shot not working. Had to reload in the last second. And well, guess what? H2G come out on top in that fight, but that was close.
Oh man, Ghost, if they could have landed that nade in, if they could have been able to push more as that team rather than going in one by one, I think there's a world where Ghost clearly went out on that fight and had that massive upset over S2G, but unfortunately, it swings the same way in S2G. They find that success of her. It wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, and I think, as we say, they got pretty lucky as well for the fact that that nade, of course, did miss. Had that landed, would have spelled the doom of S2G. That zone, however, going to be pretty interesting here, as it has gone for the most part between that main island, but more crucially, it's in between all three of those islands there, Necro, and unfortunately for these teams, got a little bit of guesswork going between the first of these early game phases to decide where that zone is actually going to stay.
Actually, I feel like it's going to stay on the right side because the most amount of zone is being covered on the right side, right? So
go opposite
I feel like A7, as always, they're going to be having that edge. They just like to loot as quick as possible. They like to go and take that mountain and make sure if anyone is going to be sneaking up through, they will take care of them. But on the other hand, taking care is going to be Black Dragons. One man being found, Timber falls down, and H2G now, not looking good. They only have 2 players alive, Kelsey as well. He doesn't really have that much amount of HP to try and fight through, so S2G a little bit of on the back foot. It's quite understandable. They don't really have the man number as well, favoring them. On the other hand, Black Dragons, they're just charging in through, and here comes the push. Foquizan finds one. Instantly, it's going to be confirming the kill, and H2G now left with only one last man alive. It's going to be Kelsey.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kelsey left alone. I think this was a real disaster from S2G, right? You have that potential of trying to get out of the entire compound with Black Dragons, who always come in as that third party previously be. Change it up a little bit. They go a little bit faster and actually catch out S2G unaware and will take those 2 kills. Kelsey, more importantly, does get alive, but they do stay inside the game and will have some space to work with, but it's going to be tricky to get back, of course, into the center of that zone. Being, as rightfully so as you say, a solo player, but a kill's there. Now just need that placement points if they can survive. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to my point, right? And I'm gonna say that I'm gonna play opposite to you, dude. I'm gonna go and say that this zone is gonna go rogue. It's gonna go all the way to ruins. That's what I'm betting. And if we know it goes to ruins now, then I'm got a control of the zone. I'm biased.
No, it's not going to go to ruins, man. Come on, let's just be honest. I don't really see any chances of it going to ruin, right? Maybe a little bit closer to the ruin, you know, maybe like towards Pine End. Those are kind of like the high chances to go there. But still, I feel like the zone, most of the time, I feel like it will probably shift on the right side. But over here, though, Knights charging in, or at least ramming their vehicles right into XZ's compound, and XZ, we do know, the last time they did a quite great job holding their compounds down, but this time, it seems like XZ, they're crumbling down one by one, they're getting dismantled, and Alucard confirming the kill out of the fallen man. But look at this, Knights now, the winners of the previous game, of course, they're going to be having a little bit of confidence up their sleeves. Kill switch down to only 1 HP, one more bullet will seal the deal, but no, is not really able to connect that initial bullet, and XZ, they're able to trade things out.
Still, though, Knights are coming further forward for XZ. They'll hold back for now as the smoke road comes on the flank end. Is Coops also edging further forward. They're wanting to push this, but they can't go fast enough in. That revive will come through. That nade, yes, it will find it. There it is, in. Perfect elimination from Xenox. As they'll clean up 2. Polo almost gets caught the last one. I don't think he knows how to climb those stairs because he's in some trouble right now, trying to find a way out. Is on the back side, it will be though J7, the ultimate flank behind Knights. But J7, he's got to do something because Polos is all on his own. And he's down, he's dead. His troops will clean him up.
Oh man, XZ, they're just getting devoured. But now again, you just have the last man alive, J7, trying his best to fight through this situation. I don't really feel like that's going to be the case. And yes, Xenox put the final nail in the coffin, and that's going to be it for XZ. Its second game, they're out with only 1 point, if I'm not wrong. And in the previous game, they had quite a decent showing. I wouldn't say that was quite good. I would say that was kind of like okay-ish showing in the previous game. But this one, it's a complete downhill performance. But if you talk about A7, Revo down quite low. They are against the fight.
Already.
Next Ruya, well, it seems like, yep, the nade's quite close. Frozen, though. He has a nade cooking up as well.
These two teams, of course, continuously fighting through these bootcamp hills. A7 knowing for playing actually through these bootcamp hills. Actually, I am surprised personally, though, that no team, and it's just actually a statement that it's dawned on me now, here, Necro, none of them go towards bootcamp. There's 0 bootcamp droppers. It's A7 in around these hillsides, as we say, just outside the compound, but that's as best as we're going to get. I mean, we talked about those bootcamp hot drops. I'm disappointed. Necro, that we're not getting a bootcamp team. I mean, we're in PMGC West. I expected better. I wanted all of these 16 teams to be dropping on that bootcamp. I wanted to see some bloodbath.
No, I mean, A7, it seems like they're the alpha tines of the lobby, you know what I'm saying? And the challenge A7 in bootcamp seems like teams aren't really down for that. They're kind of scared. I don't know if scared is the right word, but yeah.
I'll go in there. It's
until
okay.
now, you will.
I will.
I mean,
I'll brave it for you, Necro. I'll brave it.
I don't think so. You'd be able to last long though. Like that's the thing, right? You will go in. Even I can try and hot drop them, but it just comes down to for how long am I able to last in boot camp. But if you talk about lasting, Mad Bulls, it seems like in this fight, Effect isn't really able to last that long. He's down quite low, to pack himself back up. But Flaky is on the aggressive foot, and he will take down Effect.
Mad, unfortunately, going to slip another one, rightly so. Fenerbahce back on form, at least for the first kill of their second game is A7 next row. Don't think it's going to come too much here, as he seems to be edging their way further back, but Knights is the third party. Wrapping in behind the edge of A7 could be that initiator that calls them into that fight. You also see, though, of course, that first phase zone going to be closing up towards phase 2 soon, as the rest of these teams from the outer portions will continue to make their way further in. Na'Vi being one of them, of course, Eastern Stars on that northern side, as the zone does continue to centralize up. No ruins.
Oh, I told you, man. I told you. It's going to be shifting on the right side. And A7, they have the prime positioning with the high ground on the hill, as they always like to take that position. On the other hand, next Ruya as well, quite close to the squad of A7. Black Dragons as well, looking quite good. Now, the team that I'm really going to be eyeing out for are going to be Fenerbahce. Because, of course, one of the teams that didn't have any kind of chicken dinners and still were on the kind of, I think so, in the top 3 in the overall rankings of Super Weekends, and that's quite impressive in itself. But Footballist already opening things off, already kicking things off, and they have 5 kills on their name. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, Footballist, I think they were the ones that cleaned up Queso earlier on. We saw actually Queso drop just before Ghost. These were the members to clean up the cheese board, and they nommed them with their crackers. As Footballers, you head back towards them. Also Fenerbahce, as you mentioned, one of these teams heading also from that eastern side, and we do head further towards them, and in Ban, going to be heading up towards Blue Cheptan, but not for now. They'll get further in, they'll get up towards that hill, we could say, past Barn, and then they can make their way downwards, and they'll be pretty centered on throughout phase number 3, so not too much worry. So worry right now is looking towards that likes of Unicorns and Love, Eastern Stars, Na'Vi. These outside teams, how are they going to get further in onto this zone? Because they need to cross that river. All of these teams, more importantly, they don't have the information on what is on the other side of that river, and that's something that's going to be a lot less than some of these other teams who are, yes, positioned more towards the center and can instigate a fight in any moment versus these more outsider squads, but also equally rightfully so, as we say, they've got all of that information on where those other squads are if they choose to instigate into those fights.
I mean, Jake, this question is kind of like bothering me, right? And I also mentioned it on the start of the game, is that A7 dropped in Zarki in the previous game. And I feel like A7 shouldn't be the one changing their drop location. Instead, it should be Na'Vi. What do you think so? Why did A7 do that?
So the previous game, this is a secondary drop spot, right? So A7, they love to drop in North Georgia Pole. They will contest Na'Vi, but if they don't get Na'Vi, they'll go towards Zarki. So that's just their secondary spot. And actually, it touches on a good point, though, here, though, Necro. And teams, of course, being adaptive, right? Saying that we don't want to continuously fight Na'Vi and potentially put ourselves out of the game by risking that early stage. We're going to instead go further out. We're going to try wrap around Yasnaya Polyana as they do every single time. And I want to see this through from other teams because we see, as we say, in that first week, very predictable teams, and rightly so. Hot Jukes mentioned it as well, right? We see the same playstyles played again and again and again through all of these same zones that we see cropping up. And how are these teams going to be punished for playing that same way? When is it going to be that we're going to see that adaptation from one squad who does their research, does their homework beforehand, and actually takes those kills from all of those teams while playing so predictable?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the predictable pattern is definitely noticed. But yeah, we still can't really say it based off of league days, right? We can only like talk. I mean, this is for now. We're in this week 2. Of course, we did see the Super Weekend 1 as well. But yeah, in the week 2 up till now, things have been looking quite great for teams like Knight. Already off to a great start in the first game. In the second game as well, they're looking quite good. They're down a man though, but again, they can try and work things out with the left players alive. They still have Coops up, and that's what they really need, right? He's the main man in the squad.
Right, I mean, you looked at his MVP stats, right, last game. I mean, over 1k damage, 7 kills. This guy was popping off when it came to that first match in the second weekend. He's got to pop off again, though, and I think this is something that I actually appreciate, though, when it isn't just Coops on the front line doing all the damage. And this is a change that we've also seen from Knights too, where they are playing more as a team. And that's actually why I think they're having such success on such a difficult stage, is if they're not playing like Navi in this one man. Unfortunately, one man caught out of position. There's Blue-Chatan to take down one, but Noxbomb as well is on the back end. Dokkan Machine and Rebellion also coming further forward. Nate's going to land further, but goes short. As Noxbomb will drive back. And Blue-Chatan, they're one up in the fight. And Fenerbahce, I don't think they want to regress onto this.
But on the smaller screen, you do see a man from Mad Bulls being taken out. That was a huge separation coming in from the side of Mad Bulls as well. And they will have to pay the price for it. It was the player of H2G, the last man alive from that squad. Kelsey was the one who took care of that. But yeah, fights are definitely breaking out in these late game situations. And now Fenerbahce is well one of those teams that is quite close to the players of Blue-Chatan, but they should have a little bit of advantage with that high ground they've gotten themselves. Bomb making quite a risky rotation out in the open, gets caught by the players of Blue-Chatan, but still he's safe for now. Let's just figure out, is he going to be able to keep that safe nature for long?
Don't think so. I think it's a wide flank, right? They sent in their first scouts. Then they tried to get that information across the hill, but they got taken out, and now Fenerbahce, one man down, had to continue to scout out because they died so fast, right? They don't have that information on the other side of the hill. So, yes, they're going split, but it's a very defensive split. He's going so wide to make sure he doesn't get caught, but he can still provide, well, so that potential way in. Because the zone, keep in mind, did go over towards boot camp. It's gone more towards that western end. And Navi, who I think, alongside Unicorns of Love, some of these teams most at risk, still to rotate across that river. And at this point, you've got Navi members in the water. Unicorns of Love still to even get across into the river. You can see the punishment coming through as Kitsune, yes, may also fall later on, but can still put out the damage to Unicorns of Love and force them into the blue further.
Yeah, they can try and edge keep Unicorns of Love, but Unicorns of Love aren't really interested in going in that position anyways. Instead, it seems like they're going to be going through the bridge where Eastern Stars are waiting for them. And Unicorns of Love need to be a little cautious while crossing over that bridge. But on the other hand, Furious Gaming as well. Trigger gets caught, one man taken down. On the other hand, Nextria as well, taking a lot of return fire from the side of Furious Gaming. They're doing a great job trying to fight back in this situation, but Furious Gaming looking quite uncomfortable in the car.
Yeah, they're in the midst, right? They've also Fenerbahce into Blue-Chatan. There's nowhere really for Furious Gaming to go, and I think Dokkan Machine will spot them. Can't find the spray as well. Gonna be slightly off the mark is now also Noxbomb. You can see him rotate in. Bears with the help of Dokkan Machine. That extra one, and you don't want to crash there, though. Papi Potro, what are you doing? Going in against the zone is now only 30 seconds to make a move, but he's actually stranded in himself on the edge of the blue. And Fenerbahce, this should be a clean kill for him.
But look at that. The vehicle's about to blow up, and he's quite close to the vehicle as well. And yes, this is exactly what I was saying. No, you should have went behind them. Okay, well, we can try and ignore that.
Bad,
I don't know. That's definitely the rookie. Yeah, the rookie being silenced, and that's not really a good thing for a team like that. Furious Gaming out the game with only 1 point secured in their pockets. Not really looking good after that one. H2G is still alive and cooking in the game. They have gotten themselves 5 kills. It's still, I mean, at least they're going to be going away with a decent amount of points in their hands. But on the other hand, teams like Exit, again, not really a great show. And Ghost, as we do know, they got kind of taken down against the players of S2G. But over here now, Bullock, they're getting charged on by the players of Black Dragons.
Black Dragons, they are going to head their way over that hillside because the zone went towards a hard south shift. It is Black Dragons who have to make that push. They find a 1 knock for now. They can't confirm it into the kill with a nade. There's also, you can see the small screen, Mad Bulls. I think they're going to be eliminated pretty quickly here as Eastern Stars will approach and encroach on top of his face. As fortunately, Bulls looking like some free meat. The Eastern Stars, they'll clean it up. There goes kill on the small screen. Baluk Chaptano, look at that snake in the grass. Speaking of animals, it's a zoo. It's Marion will take their free meal of the day. Is now they'll head back down on the mountain side. Assassinate potentially for another, but Marion not so quick enough. Is now also Noxbomb will be able to third party them away. Will confirm the killer too. Is Baluk Chaptan down a member equally in between this fight, losing air advantage.
Oh, it's Fenerbahce joining the party over here. And guess what? Eastern Stars on a quick rotation in that vehicle. H2G spotting them out, but again, he's trying to play things out a little safe and cautious. But on the other hand, Black Dragons, they're getting shot at from the backlines. It's Eastern Stars joining the fray. And guess what? It's third party after third party. And this is what we like to see in the map of Sanhok. This is what Sanhok is known for. Although for those third parties all over the place. And Bullock now left with only 2 players alive. There's no way they're going to be able to get the fallen man back up on his feet. The Blue Zone's going to be taking quite a lot of damage onto him. But again, now A7, they're looking quite good with the position they have for themselves. And look at the separation being shown from the side of A7. They have been spread out quite thin. And A7 now, they have gotten their eyes. I think so. They have definitely heard the presence of the players of Bullock. And we did see one player of A7 quite close to them.
Yeah, A7 here are playing at T formation. You got Revo in the front line there, Necro, who's going to play spoiler for a lot of those teams heading in. And the information as well for A7 coming in from that more barn side towards the east, as it has gone towards them. And they've got a zone themselves as Unicorns of Love lost down to 2. Is inside, of course, Boot Camp Knights as well, going to continue their straying through. They take down the 6th kill for themselves. But also equally, need to get inside of that zone as now here comes the problem. Can A7 defend against all of these teams? Unicorns of Love are going to, as we say, also struggle up against Knights. That could be the potential fight we see heading in next. Well, what about these other outsider teams, like Na'Vi, who have been so patient? There's still 4 members strong.
Yeah.
When is it going to be that Na'Vi enter into that zone themselves, playing on the edge so long, but they might just grab themselves that first kill of the game as Xenox brought out of position, as well as also, unfortunately, Golden. Blake Chaptan will strike him down, but Raiz barely dodging out, blowing up the vehicle, going to be enough to confirm the kill. It's Rakreeson, also now in some danger. S2G.
It was actually, it was actually Mafioso from the side of A7 who got that kill, who stole it away. It's just a robbery from his side. But over here, Footballist charging in forward in the compounds of Knights. And Knights, again, one of those teams we do know who won the previous game. They're looking quite good in this one as well. But Na'Vi, as always, those late rotations don't work out for them. And they're crumbling down. They're getting dismantled one by one. They're also taking a lot of damage from the zone. But instead, they're also taking a damage from the players of Footballist and Knights. And Volmatic will go down as well. And just like always, it's Kitsune, the only one last man surviving. Well, he's the only hope for Na'Vi now. And I feel like the only option he has in the position he's got himself is to go in for that heal battle.
Yeah, herein lies the problem, right, of Na'Vi heading in too late. And the information problem in itself of not being able to have enough to then go off of. Coming into such a quick rotation, they leave it to the last minute. You can't do that when you have nothing to play for. Is Alucard as well has only his life to play for, but Footballist, I think they'll be ending this one pretty quickly as he does step outside, dodges out of the zone, but I think he wants to go back into the zone. He doesn't know which way to go. And he will try to eliminate himself to the zone, as also next Roy and Yetka will be able to strike down one with the help of also A7 here. Fortunately, next Roy, not so fortunate though, will dodge out. only to the death, as A7 still standing strong in the zone. 4-man formation heading up as Footballers are going to be the next target. And there, with Footballers gone, I think this is the last surviving team that could really have challenged A7. And A7, this might be the game-winning push for Malakar. Is going to steal one away just before he falls down to the zone as well. But it's definitely A7 on top. His Knights forward 10 kills. We're down to our final 4 teams, but it's 3 solos. And they're all healing. They're nowhere near the rest of A7. They got to chill, as this chicken dinner's about to come to them.
Oh yeah, this chicken dinner is definitely going to be A7. There's no way anyone's going to be able to take it, right? Because the rest of the teams, they're just going for that heal battle. And this is what Dave was talking about, right? Underrated? Well, I don't really feel like it's underrated anymore, Dave. I mean, we are seeing like, what, two other teams? Actually, 3 other teams are doing it, and including Fenerbahce as well. And just like that, easily getting themselves that 3rd position. Who's going to be able to get that 3rd position, though? That's the question. Who's going to be getting that 2nd position? And Rebellion out of Mets, well, now we do know Fenerbahce getting taken out in the 3rd position, and it's going to be Unicorns of Love pretty much who are going to be taking an exit on the 2nd position. And just like that, A7 ruling the zone, ruling the map of Sanhok.
He's not quite dead yet, though. He's got a few first aid meds. He's walking his way forward. He's not going to last long. He's going to fall eventually. But this is Unicorns of Love strategy, right? You see this played every time, and Unicorns of Love playing so well, keeping themselves to this 2nd position and getting themselves those 12 points. Of course, 15, no, gonna be going towards A7 as they will finally strike their chicken dinner. Delayed, but it serves still hot.
Oh yeah, A7 getting that chicken dinner in the game of Sanhok, looking pretty good after that one. Got a decent amount of kill points as well to start to kick the day off on the league day. And with that one, A7 are going to be left with quite impressive positioning in the overall rankings as well. Na'Vi, they could have played that better. I'm pretty sure Na'Vi could have tried and played that better. They could have tried to rotate a little bit earlier inside the zone. But as always, Na'Vi, they just like to rotate late, and then they will have to pay the price for it, right? They just don't really have the pathway to go in. They don't really have a lot of intel to work with, and they just don't know how to breach inside the zone.
Yeah, I mean, when you are coming in onto that zone there, Necro, you've got to be able to come in with some form of information, as we said. And I don't know how many times we said it now, Na'Vi, they don't play towards that. They're playing so defensive, and I think there's a time and a place. I mean, you see all the time, right, on the East, of its defensive playstyle, playing towards the edge of the circle, and it's the right thing to do, but they're not executing it out when it comes to being that aggressive team that we saw them in the European scene and seeing them in their own region dominate. And I think this is a very stark difference, and I think could be the pressure or something internal potentially going on inside of Na'Vi, but whatever it is, it needs to be changed and it needs to be fixed fast, because this cannot continue and Na'Vi cannot continue to be playing so poorly if they even want to potentially, if they get into finals, make even, of course, that top 6. Only 6 teams, of course, teams going through.
And we're talking about that predictable teams, right? Na'Vi definitely has to be on the top when you talk about predictable gameplay. They haven't changed a single thing yet, man. They just always like to go inside the circle late. They like to play those edges. And this is the problem why Na'Vi are just getting so predictable, right? On the other hand, A7, I do like how they play inside the map of Sanhok. They loot as quick as possible. Instantly, they go on top of the hills. And I'm pretty sure on the top of the hills, it's easy for a team like A7 to grab 1 or 2 squad wipes.
Yeah, you see it every time, right? This efficiency in the looting phase actually very admirable. They, yes, might have been struggling a little bit with loot, but they rely on those other teams, those other players, those other bodies to almost be lunchboxes to eat up and steal away and use that loot to survive through the rest of the game. And it's a very risky playstyle coming through from A7, but it's something that has worked and is very stereotypical of the aggressive A7 we know and love, particularly here on Sanhok. But it's also these more passive playstyles, right, that you can see coming through from Unicorns Love, coming through from Fenerbahce, even as we said, Na'Vi, who save themselves with it too, that healing strat, so OP when it comes to making sure you're getting those points on side the map as Sanhok. Gonna have to see what our analysts think of all of that action and A7 taking that win.
Who am I? Who am I? I'm healing here. I'm healing here. That's what I'm doing. 3 teams healing that game. My goodness. But A7, coming out on top here once again. I know, Glitter, you got a lot to say about the squad from Brazil.
Listen, I said it. You said who was I thinking feeling good about going into this first Sanhok? I said A7. I don't know if they heard me. I don't know if it's because of their new filter on Instagram, but they pulled out the win. Okay, David, this is what I was expecting. I said Brazil in general on Sanhok was going to do strong, and we even saw Black Dragons at the very beginning come in and clear out S2G after S2G cleared out Ghost. So, I mean, starting off pretty strong.
Definitely. I mean, with Alpha 7 too, it's the second time in a way they get this circle where they don't have to really rotate out of Sanhok, and I'm so happy to see them take advantage of that. Now, we do have Knights. We saw a big fight between Knights and Exit. Knights was able to come out on top of that. They got 10 ilms. They got more ilms than Alpha 7, which is insane to me saying that now. But hey, I'm all for it. Fenerbahce, though, 14 points for them. Unicorns of Love, 12 points. And then if we go to talking about heals, Navi being able to at least put some points that they needed under their belt. Navi being able to collect those 10 points, which was huge for them. I'm glad to see them bounce back in a way and being able to collect those points that will be needed. S2G, that's another team. They hot drop on Ghost Gaming again. We were wondering if it was going to happen. Guess what? It definitely happened. S2G came out on top of that, which the angles that they were holding, it was absolutely insane. But Glitter, as you mentioned, they did end up getting third party but Black Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, they still get a decent amount of elims on the board, but you can see their placement points are obviously less than ideal, considering how early they went up. But those elims at least help them stay on this first page. The teams on our second page here, though, struggling a little bit, and I'm just going to go straight down to the bottom of the list, okay? Xset tried really early to go up against the Knights. It did not go well for Xset. Ghost, obviously losing out to S2G, and then Queso, 7, all the way down there in 16th place.
It hurts. It hurts seeing Team Queso, especially because this would have been perfect. That ending would have been perfect for Team Queso. We'll talk about it in a little bit. There you go. Dave, tell him again. Who is
Papa Coops! Back-to-back games, MVP. At this point, I think I just need to be on desk, and then Coops gets the MVP. Because Coops, at this point, he's looking at me. He's not looking at you, Glitter. He's not looking at you, Seven. He's looking at me. He's like, yeah, Dave, this one's for you, man. This one's for you.
He's doing great, to be fair. I mean, once again, he's just under the 1,000 damage mark this time, whereas last time he was just over the 1,000 damage mark. So averaging that much damage is insane, and he ends up in a head-to-head against Alucard 7. I mean, yes, A7 wins, but it is the Knights, once again, with back-to-back insane performances.
Honestly, I think this might be the first time this has happened in the tournament so far, where we get head-to-heads, back-to-back games, and it's pretty much just from the same team. Here, Alucard, I mean, we've been able to see greatness of Alucard during last week of league play here. Not surprised to be able to see him here. 5 ilms go to him, 596 damage. Definitely being able to convert more of that damage into actual ilms, which is huge. And then 43% there for Knights Alucard. I love seeing this aggressiveness out of Knights. I think a lot of us have been expecting it, and right here, oh wow, he actually allows them to be in first place with 45 points, creating a nice lead here. And you know what, I'm actually gonna skip all those teams, and I'm gonna go to Navi. I love seeing them now here with 11 points. That last game definitely helped out a ton. And then Blue Chaptan, that's another big surprise there, Glitter. They had 22 points.
Yeah, and obviously we're keeping our eyes on that 16th place spot right now. Xset would at least make their way through, having not made it before. Same thing with Baluk Jabtan. I mean, Ghost right on the cusp here, and that's after they get 1 point. So right now, it's obviously the beginning of everything. These are not going to be where this final standings are, but definitely some surprises down there. Rise is another surprise for me, having been so low on that list. So we'll have to see how the rest of the games play out, Dave.
Yeah, by the way, the A7 filter that you brought up, make sure you use it, because after I used it, all 4 of the team members, they sent me a DM. So huge respect out there. But talking about respect, go in and do the fan vote. Play PUBG Mobile. Vote for your favorite PMGC team and player. If you're correct, you log into the game in the esports center and you share your vote. If you're correct, you unlock rewards for that. So a lot of rewards going on right now, a lot of incentive to go into that esports center. And if that wasn't enough, here's another one for you. Another one. Treasure box, PMGC exclusive treasure box in the esports center. Some more fun in there. Watch PMGC live or on YouTube or in the esports center. Get those PMGC tokens. Yeah, you can see right down there below, and unlock the PMGC tournament outfits. So esports center, pretty much Spark Notes, that's where it's at. That's where you want to be. And talk about where you want to be. Match number 3 here. We're coming in hot today. We're speed running this. Erangel, A, B, C, E. So we're going to be throwing in Group E, Aton, SMP, Shaktas, and Rise. I'm looking at Rise. Hashtag go Rise. Thoughts on that one, Glitter?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to need a little bit of a reset here, moving it to Erangel. We'll see if Rise is able to pick it up. We did see that overall they're towards the bottom, so they're going to need a solid performance here. So, I mean, what do you think, Seven?
For this one, I'm going to be looking at Exit. I want to see if they're going to continue that aggressiveness that we see now back-to-back. And I'm kind of sad that Navi's not going to be playing this one. I was hoping they will carry that point momentum that they had from that last game.
Oh, well, you know about we're talking about momentum out here. You know what? We're going to send to a quick break because I need my momentum on the break here. Go drink some water. Be right back. Don't go nowhere.
capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Ah, we're back. I told you, I promised. The momentum break. I had my glass of water, Glitter 7, drinking the agua, I had a cafe con leche as well, so I'm feeling good heading into the third map of the evening. PMGC West Side is the best side 2021 here. Let's check it out once again. Next matches, A, B, C, E, Erangel. You know me. Who's dropping hot? Who's dropping hot? That's what I want to know here, 7.
You know who? I'm actually gonna switch it up on you. You know who's not dropping hot anymore? Alpha 7. Alpha 7's gonna have all the time here to lose George, especially north of George. They don't have to worry about Navi anymore. Maybe they have to worry about Footballers. And another team that's not gonna be playing on this next one, Ghost Gaming. I want to see who out of all these teams is gonna take advantage of that and is gonna go to Pachinki. That is such a great area right there. By the way, Dave, you made me want some Colombian coffee now, man. You mentioned coffee. Now I want to get hyped up too.
Glitter, you want coffee as well? Seems like I'm gonna be brewing some here very shortly.
Yeah, you know, if you're taking orders, I'll take some, and then we'll see if that gives me enough prediction power if I can turn back into Glitter Domus for the rest of the day. Okay, I'll got some. Go with the A7 right so far. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. And Xset, and you called Xset game 1, so I don't know. Glitter Domus, I feel like is definitely slowly coming back to form here, so I'll have to ask you for some advice later on. But 7, I know you wanted to kind of touch on Team Queso after that last game. Whoa, what are we touching on here? What do you got to say?
This right here, even though I'm kind of smiling a little bit, it's a sad face, okay? This is not the Team Queso I was expecting here, man. They showed us to be a completely different team, especially in America's Championship. We don't see them right now. I want to see what's going to happen here on this Erangel, though.
Well, talk about what we do see. We see that 1+, the 1+ with the flagship performance, the immersive 120 Hz display, the hyper touch technology made for gamers. The OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot of climbing up the leaderboards right there. Yeah, oh man, I see that 1+. Looks good, man. So, hey, Game 3, we talked about Team Queso, Ghost Gaming. Fortunate for them, they're going to be sitting out after getting swept up that last game. Just got to say, yeah, they're going to be in the locker room chatting about that one a little bit. Glitter, any squads you're looking at here this match?
You know, I do like the Xset pick from 7 because I do agree that they've started off both these games so far with a lot of aggression, okay? And I mean, you're talking about them right at the end of the last segment there, 7, and it's just, I feel like it might not be 100% there, but the fact that they're willing to take those fights, especially in the last game when we just saw them being willing to go up against Knights with how well Knights has been performing, it's eventually going to click for Xset. And they are one of those teams that really, really needs to get into this next Super Weekend. So I might be keeping my eyes on Xset now. You kind of convinced me here, 7.
Yes, okay, I'm all for it, actually. The reason I was doing that is for something completely different that crossed my head is that we really haven't heard of Polo that much. This was a player that was in contention for MVPs in previous tournaments. I want to see more of Polo. If Polo can get in a role, we know what kind of Xset we've been able to expect in the past. So I want to see a great performance at Polo. And I'm loving the aggression, as you mentioned, Glitter. The aggression right now from this team is absolutely insane. I want them to continue it because it's working for them. They're not just playing super passive. I mean, we saw a change of pace too, even in the last game from not just Xset, from Navi. They played just for placement points. They started off with the heal off too. They didn't want to try to go for those elims. So for the Xset here, if aggression's working for you, if you're able to get elims, it might have not worked on that Sanhok, but it did work on the first Erangel. Go for it again. Why not?
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. Like Xset, they have a lot to lose here this league play week if they do not qualify, right? Like I can only imagine the pressure. They missed Super Weekend #1. They already have a huge disadvantage when we look at that overall leaderboard. So that extra aggression that we did see game 1 paid off pretty well. Last game, they went out kind of early, so I'm real curious how they will be able to bounce back. One team I really want to talk about here, though, I don't know if, we talked about them enough, but the Black Dragons. I like how last game they recognized the opportunity to third party that whole Paradise fight. For me, I'm looking at teams who know how to take advantage of these opportunities, such as that third party action here. About 1 minute to go. Final thoughts here, 7. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, with what you were saying in regards to Black Dragons, it's not the first time we see them do that. It's actually the second time that we see them kind of just wait for SGG. It's becoming a habit too, so I want to know in the future how's SGG going to respond to that, because we will be playing another Sanhok after this match coming up. And then with Erangel, you guys were talking about it earlier. Rise Esports. I want to see what kind of Rise Esports we're going to get here on the first match. I want to see if they're going to continue the aggressiveness that they showed us before. Also, they got a chance to sit down, watch those 2 first games, figure out what's going on here. It's going to be an interesting Erangel.
Hashtag Go Rise in the chat. Type it in right now with your little fingers. And if you want to know the future, just ask Glitter Damas here. We got her on the desk with us. But ladies and gentlemen, match number 3. Players getting locked and loaded, getting them parachutes on, walking on that plane, getting ready to drop here. I already see the plane path. It is looking to be quite the spicy one, quite the exciting one. But Jinky is going to be favored. So 10 seconds to go. Glitter Damas, pick a team. One team. Who wins it? One team. I'm putting you on the spot. You got 5 seconds to go.
Mad Bulls.
One team. Mad Bulls. Ooh, hopefully Mad Bulls aren't looking like Sad Bulls. Let's get into map number 3.
Mad Bulls, Glitter Damas. I mean, I'm not against it here, Necro. I'm not against it at all because I've seen Glitter pull some picks out of nowhere. We'll say that, right? And we'll see if it is going to be effective. Here we go into match number 3. Necro's our first time casting together, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it, man. We two big boys over here on the mic. Let's freaking get it, baby. And yeah, Mad Bulls, definitely an interesting pick. Mad Bulls have been doing quite good in league days, right? But this is where they really struggle. It's the super weekends. So in league days, understandable. Mad Bulls, they're having quite a decent performance, at least in the week 1. But let's just find out how they're going to be doing in the game of Erangel now.
Well, they've got 8 points so far, so if they hit that, I mean, that's double of the past 2 matches. So I think that it would be good for them to pull out some good points. Teams that definitely need to, in my eyes, I mean, Ghost, Gaby, Team Gessel, I mean, even S2G, they're down on the bottom here. And the thing is, we haven't really I mean, there's still a few games to play here today, right? But I guess when I always look at this, I'm like, look, if one of these teams, these big squads, if they throw today on day 1, I would not be surprised if we see other teams just like run and gun for them and just try to keep them out of a super weekend.
I mean, talking about throws, man. Big teams, Navi's been doing that all the time, like all this long way, man. Navi's been doing that since like all the way along. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, they're not really playing inside these groups, but yeah, I don't really know what to expect. And as you talk about, yeah, if one of the big teams do falter down, that means the other teams from the bottoms, they might just try, or at least they will have a little bit of chance to try and come up on top. But over here, a little bit of highlights from the past game, and this is how things really look like. Oh no!
That would hurt.
Talk about it, man.
Wear your seatbelt, right? That one stung. That one stung right there. The Ronnie, dude, the deadliest vehicle in all of PUBG Mobile, dude. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So it does go down right there. Interesting little, little replay we got to see as we get into the rest of the match.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, man, production's just savage, bro.
Dude.
Any kind of these moments, production's not gonna let them slip away. They will just rub that salt on the injury, just to make sure the players are understanding. This is what you will get if you make any kind of rookie mistakes. Dude. And the players will have to make sure they're playing the games to the perfections. We're not messing around here, man.
Dude, if you do something like that, you ended up on Twitter, bro. 100%. That's the wrong highlight reel. You want to be in the top 10, biggest fraggers, but that kind of stuff, you don't want to get hit with a lol, or perhaps a keck.
Exactly, the keck, man. That's what we really need to be scared of, man. The keck. Yep.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, man. Just ejecting out of a moving vehicle, man. It's just unfortunate. It's just sad life for the player of Unicorns to love, Lynn. But yeah, now as we talk about a team like Exit as well, weren't really able to make it in the first weekend up till now in the second time as well. Had quite a decent first game. The second game was quite questionable from their side. Weren't really able to do that good. But yeah, as the analyst desk were talking about, the aggression, it definitely seems like it has ramped up quite a lot compared to first week.
I think it makes sense too because, we're talking about going back to league play, setting the pace, setting the tone. A lot of these teams are still fighting for their drop spots. I mean, we saw at Sanhok the last game, Ghost at S2G. They seem to keep battling it out for Paradise. And man, I mean, of course, S2G getting the better of them. I mean, it's just so crazy to see because, a lot of you from certain areas are used to seeing, a particular team dominate a spot, like completely. But now at this high level, I mean, you have to fight for even those locations that are normally yours in your region.
Yeah. And as you talk about locations, right, there definitely has been a lot of clashes as well in those rotations, especially one of the most well-known clashes if you talk about while rotating. It's A7 and Na'Vi. No matter what kind of path they take, it's just always that these two teams, no matter what, they're always going to be clashing against each other. Luckily for A7, Navi isn't really playing inside this game, so we also do see A7 kind of taking over that Northern Georgia pool side. As in the previous map of Erangel, they went all the way up to Zarki, which is what Highland Wolf mentioned and said that this is kind of like their secondary drop spot. And A7, I feel like Navi should have been the one to actually try and switch things around, but instead it's A7 who did that. That means A7, they don't want no smoke, man.
They don't. I mean, honestly, it's the biggest rule of engagement at this high level. You don't want any smoke with anybody at the start.
Yeah.
I mean, just landing near another team, it detracts from your looting time. It also detracts from you being able to rotate early and get a good position in circle. So, I mean, a lot of these teams, they almost have a handshake agreement. You know, like, hey, we're going to go this way. You guys go that way. And Alpha 7, they're not stupid. There's just too much money on the line. Pride, you have to put it beside you. I mean, you have to pick what's best for your squad to get the most points. It's all about the points.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's all about the point and that money. And Alpha 7 does realize there's a lot of it on stake.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, we have teams like Besiktas who are also on the struggling phase. Then you have teams like Aton who made it to Super Weekend, but in Super Weekend, completely phased out. Weren't really able to perform up to the mark as we expected them to. But Mad Bulls now, I do have the map feed kind of in front of my eyes, and Mad Bulls, they're quite close to a player of Unicorn's Love, and this is where we might see a fight pan out. Up till now, we haven't really seen any fights panning out. It's been 6 minutes, 23, 24, 25 seconds in the game, and still no action being seen yet.
Not shocked. Not shocked at all. You know, I mean, it's just when you got so much at stake, you want to avoid those early engagements. You really do. You know, you want to get looted up, you know, start fighting in that mid late game, perhaps catch a player slipping. There goes Coops. Looking at Big Milo for Furious Gaming. Trig is going to be coming on the same way. They might get caught out here. The shots start ringing. That's going to let them know exactly where they're at. And you can just see these tight, ridiculously tight peaks here. And Big Milo is separated on his own. I wonder if the Knights are going to full send on the singular player, but that's also super risky. At this stage, you want to limit. You don't want to take any risks if possible.
Oh, look at this though, Bobby Potro creating an off angle from the back.
They're sending it.
He's trying to strike in, but look at this. Knights, as you mentioned, yeah, they're going full send mode over here, and Big Milo might just be caught, but instead they're taking return fire, and guess what? Milo falls down in that fight. Alucard just bobbing and weaving his way back through. Jiggle peeking that wall. He's able to find the man, but guess what? Coops, on the other hand, has been taken down. That's a big man, and you want to make sure a man like Coops doesn't really go out this early in the game. You want to make sure Coops is in the game, but on the other hand, Poppy Potro, with this kind of a flank angle being created, he also has a lot of advantage and also has a lot of intel to work with.
Yeah, unfortunately, Coops gets knocked outside of that broken wall, so he's out wide in the open.
Yeah.
The Knights instantly, like you mentioned, I mean, that's their MVP, throwing a ton of smokes, and they're going to try to get this res off. It looks like they are going to be able to get it off because Furious Gaming, they don't have any other off angles to really help out. Bobby Potro just hits the eject button, and they're just going to have to take the loss of it. I'm glad the Knights did that push because I think that is a push that they would do all day long. Anytime you see a solo player just stuck out in the open, full send them, easy point. But unfortunately, I mean, well, with so much at stake, you know, you'll see some teams want to get a little bit, and I think we saw a little bit of that hesitation from the Knights, you know, saying, oh, you know, we don't want to go out, make a mistake, and then they're like, wait, what are we doing? Send it, get the point, and that's what they did.
Yeah. I mean, Knights can always try and send it, right? They've already gotten a chicken dinner on their name. They're pretty much, I think so, like, topping the charts, if I'm not wrong. And Knights, they can always try and go for plays like those, but on the other hand, teams that are all the way in the bottoms, teams like, well, we have Supermassive Plays that just came in through. They had first 2 games to try and kind of like get their homework down, to try and kind of like fill up their notes with how teams are playing inside the week 2. And the Supermassive Plays, of course, one of those teams that I do want to see kind of come out on top in this one. Let's just find out how they're able to play, because as I mentioned, they were not really playing the first 2 games. That means they're also going to be having a little bit of advantage over the teams that were playing.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. You know, speaking of that, I want to ask a question, right? Think about this one. When it comes to that fight, if the Knights didn't have such a great start, do you think they would have made that push?
I think so. They would have, yeah. Considering like how Knights like to play, I feel like they definitely would have made that push, right? And as you mentioned, they realize, right, there's only one man in the front lines. No one else is really shooting at them. But guess what? Rise is the one. Mufasa takes one player down. Xenox instantly will be confirmed, and now Mufasa is being charged on by another player of Knights. Will he be able to take care of him? And yes, guess what? Mufasa is good for 2. Alucard as well now taking out the game. Knights. Quite a risky rotation, not really paying off, and Coops as well out the game. Furious Gaming are the one taking their revenge.
Papi Potro finally got a little taste of the blood that he wanted. So the Knights on just a tough rotation, you know, thinking that this side was wide open, just get caught out by Mufasa with that DP with the quick shots. And now it's just only one player left up for the Knights. Yeah, that's a tough turnaround for them.
Yeah. Not really looking good after that one, man. Just left with only that one last man alive. Knights. Oh, the struggle being shown inside this game. Quite risky rotations. Didn't really have a lot of info to work with. Didn't know how to really kind of like breach their way in through in the center part of the zone. But on the other hand, H2G, man, another team still looking quite good up till now. They have all 4 of their players alive. If they're able to make alive with all 4 of their players alive, even in late games, I mean, H2G, there's a higher chance that they're probably going to be racking up the chicken dinner as well.
I mean, SGG, they're big chilling. After that last Super Weekend, they're just sitting pretty. All they have to do is just focus on getting top 16, you know, making it into the next one. The rest of the teams, I mean, especially squads like XZ, Team Kessel, those squads have to have a great performance here. And I think it's not just, it's for their overall morale. You know, because S2G, even if they do bad, if they make it in, they're still going to have all that morale because they're on top and they know it. But a lot of the rest of these squads, I think it's a little bit of a confidence game. Like Dave said, that momentum, they need to start building. They need to start building.
Yeah, definitely that momentum, especially teams like XZ that weren't really able to make it, right? In the first weekend, this is their time to start building up that momentum. And even the analyst desk mentioned, of course, coming inside the week 2, they're looking quite aggressive. But Mad Bulls, look at this monkey trying to create a little bit of off angle onto the player in the front lines. And guess what? Decided that he's a little bit too much in the open, so the call to back off has been made. GK first, patching himself back up. But again, where's his teammates? His teammates are quite all the way in the back. We do see Lin in those compounds. Does he have a clear line of sight on the players of Mad Bulls? That nade was quite close, but GK first, he's good for now.
Good for now, but for how long? Not long enough. I mean, a beautiful nade there from the Mad Bulls. You know, taking chopsticks, dip. And you can just tell that they are so used to this spot. They know the coverage. They know where players are going to be. And a beautiful nade laced right behind that hay bale stack to get that knock. And you can just see Effect using that buggy just to get a little bit of sight lines. You know, that's really smart, because if you do that on foot and you get knocked right here, you're done for. But when that buggy gives you a little bit of protection, able to get a little bit of information, beautiful, beautiful done. Little plays like that I love to see. Circle shift though. Man. What do you think about this one?
And guess what? H2G right in this max center, Jukes. I'm not really surprised to see this one. And H2G, they've gone to center. They also have a beautiful compound to work with. And I feel like this might just be their game, man. I know I'm a little too early to say this, but considering the fact how H2G really plays and how they've been playing so far, I feel like it would be safe to say that this might just be H2G's game.
Oh, I mean, it's a Ruins finish, right? And Ruins finish is going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to see this one get hectic towards the end. You can see S2G, they have the lay of the land. They can choose exactly the location they want. Opting for that just dead center position. Timber going to be putting some shots onto Reyes. And right now, S2G, all they're trying to do is just play keep away. You know, just dominate this position, let teams know where they're at, so that way they can get that separation and let them all fight it out. Chico! Oh, Chico's got something ahead. Can he pull something magical off? He's got a 1v4 situation. Only able to get one. And there goes the Knights.
But still, the damage has been done. Knights out the game now, 16th place. First team to take an exit with only 2 points in their hands. And Bullock as well, quite close to the players of Besiktas, but still, they shouldn't really be worrying about them anymore. And as you mentioned, the S2G, they have the prime positioning inside the zone. All they need to do is just tell the teams that, okay, we're here. Do not try to come over here. If you do, we're going to be taking care of you. And guess what? Timber in the front lines, getting a knock onto the players of Besiktas. Enjoy 7 goes down. And Besiktas now, I'm pretty sure the panic mode's going to be starting to set in.
Oh, it sure is. They're going to have to be able to make something happen to get out of this position as we move on over. We're going to see some teams start to be able to take those edges, just trying to find a way into the circle. Ruins is so tough to navigate through, especially with vehicles. Those car walls aren't going to be as effective just due to the lay of the land, that terrain. So, I mean, we're still pretty early, still circle number 3. So you have a little bit of time to get that information, but it's interesting split here from S2G to play this so wide. I mean, if his team just like sends it on to Silas, he's going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, definitely they're going to be in a little bit of trouble for sure. But yeah, I also want to take a look at all the way in the southern side of the zone, right? We have teams like Mad Bull, Supermassive Blaze, and Exit racking up right next to each other. Look at this. They have lined up right next to each other. And then you have Black Dragons on top of the Pachinki Hill. And they're pretty much, they have a lot of intel to work around with. They do know Exit is right on the left side. They can try and at least pepper down a few bullets, make sure Exit isn't really overextending themselves, making sure they're being pinned down in the position that found themselves in. But now the problem is teams like Exit, they're all the way in the south. If the circle moves up north, this is where the problem will start knocking their door.
Watch this. If that circle goes north, right now in the south, this is basically like a starting line of a foot race. If it goes north, it's going to be like a gunshot. These teams are going to all start sending it immediately. It does go south. All right. So, you know, Exit, all these squads, Mad Bulls, big chillin'. So they don't got to worry about anything. But teams like Alpha 7, way up in the north, are going to be hugging. They love to hug that circle. They're going to try to go. And here's the crazy part. We're going to see Footballers and Alpha 7. I guarantee you, they're going to go all the way to the hard shift side. Little do they know, it's jam-packed.
Oh yeah, it is. It is definitely jam-packed. But the good side for football is that they have players like Solky and Lutz kind of like on the edge of the zone, right? And well, here we go. Yep, Unicorns of Love now. Pretty much quite close to the players of Mad Bulls. We did expect this fight coming in through as well. Rolkis has a nade cooking up in the hand. On the other hand, Yin Yang as well doing the same thing. Nades being exchanged from both these sides, but still nothing really critical damage being taken out from that. Unicorns of Love, they have a little bit of disadvantage inside this one. They're only a 3-man squad.
Mad Bulls made a little bit of a mistake here. I think they should have instantly recognized that circle shift, that people were going to be coming and hugging that circle. It's a very common play. They just happened to be focusing in the other direction, and they got pulled up on very easily by the Unicorns of Love. So now they're stuck in a position to have to defend themselves, and you can see Effect trying to be able to do that with a little bit of utility, throwing them nades out, trying to apply that pressure as they're waiting for the blue zone to come. But this is the thin side, so this blue zone's going to close very, very slowly here.
Yeah, the blue zone's definitely going to be closing very slowly. That means teams like Mad Bulls, they will have a little bit more time to work around with over here inside this fight because they are not the one who have the compound for now. And guess what? Rolkis, a quick knock on their glory is going to be setting them up for a good positioning inside the zone as well. And now Rolkis having that little bit of high ground to work with. Yin's position is still not known. That means he can try and take out Rolkis if he tries to overextend himself. And Rolkis up till now is being quite uncautious of that fact. And Rolkis now exposing himself, taking a couple of shots. Effect is the one catches a couple bullets on himself, and Mad Bulls, they're on the retreat.
Oh, but I mean, what are they retreating into? They're retreating into the Unicorns of Love because that was a beautiful, beautiful rotation. Rolkis staying behind, applying pressure with those shots, allowed his 2 teammates to rotate completely around and get the dominant position. So even if Rolkis goes down, they're going to have at least 2 players within this circle. Beautifully rotated from Unicorns of Love and executed. Tough to do.
Exactly. I mean, you can run, but you can't hide, right? Unicorns of Love setting up a perfect example of that. On the other hand, next Ruya as well. 2 men fell down. Rise, we do know this is one of the teams that is known for their aggressive nature. They've already taken down 2 players next Ruya. Next Ruya as well, it seems like they're not interested in trying to save the fallen 2 men. Instead, they're going to be making their mark inside the zone, and that's what they really prioritize over here. But they run straight into the players of Besiktas as well. This is where they really need to start worrying about a lot of things. And Lutz being caught out in the open, taking a lot of damage onto himself. And it's going to be A7 Revo taking care of man like Lutz. But still, Lutz able to get back into safety.
This is such a tough position to cover. Oh, and here they go, Eastern Stars with the third party holding the edge of this circle, just making things even more difficult. Octavian, he's going to do the quick turnaround. Say, okay, yeah, this side is completely taken, and this is all open field here. They're gonna have to make plays. Revo gonna take it down. Dexa trying to be able to hold it down from this position, and Footballers are just running in with the blue zone. Everybody just trying to make it in here.
Oh, Footballers, but to keep this in mind, they have all for their players alive, but scratch that. Solga was knocked out, but again, he's back up on his feet now, looking quite good. Doesn't really have the HP favoring him, though. That's the problem. But on the kill feed as well, we still do see the fight between Unicorns of Love and Mad Bulls going on. But for now, Footballist in A7, this has come down to a complete stalemate. And yes, Unicorns alive, and Mad Bull's fight continues. Mad Bull's one man falls down. This leaves them with only 2 players alive.
Footballist able to get the full reset. Love to see Lutz up there just throwing that utility to buy him some time. But I'll tell you what, this Mad Bulls team have no time. Unicorn of Love are sending it full in.
Oh, that nade!
That nade beautifully done, and it looks like Mad Bulls get the better of them.
Oh, Mad Bulls wiping Unicorns alive out the game. They have only got 1 elimination on their name. That's not really a good thing to go off with. And A7, Cario being taken out with that beautiful place nade. And now this leaves Senatexa, the only man alive, has a lot of burden on his shoulder for sure, Jukes.
Senatexa just going to be able to survive it out for a little bit longer, trying to get some extra points underneath his belt. Rest of the squads have been sitting relatively simply. We haven't seen S2G in a while. They were centered up. Now they are at the edge of this circle. And this one's toxic here. It is in the middle of the open. No cover anywhere.
Oh yeah, no cover definitely for sure. Circle moving out in the open. You don't really have a lot of cover to work with. And Bashik does. The zone gets the better out of him, not really able to withstand the damage that the wall of death put onto him. But now Footballist still looking really strong in this one, Jukes. They have all 4 of their players alive, and they're looking to take another team down. It's going to be Eastern Stars in the front lines. Bozzy separated out from Octavia and Eastern Stars with only 2 players in the game. The chances of them making it alive from this situation are looking quite thin.
Lutz with the laydown shots on a Furious Game and get it done. You can see Opposite as well, trying to be able to get some shots into the smoke. Sublind peaks, doesn't get it for now, but now it's just full snake play, and that's just the lay of the game here. There is just no cover anywhere, just nothing but tall grass. Lutz, he's got a bush. He's got a bush.
He's one with the nature, man. He's one with the nature. Nate from H2G still.
Oh, look at that one.
We kind of got our eyes. A little bit of wibbly wobbly Nate there was able to just, wibble wobble his way to the mark. But Rice, they're on the move. They're on the move. They don't really want to stay there anymore. Instead, they're going to be opting out for a safe rotation inside the zone. Do realize H2G, the Alpha Titans, are making sure they're being the guardian angels on the compound. That is pretty much prime positioning inside this one. Before now, Supermassive Blaze trying to get the rest back on the fallen man. Over here, Rice going up against a team like Bullock. Mufasa falls down, if I'm not wrong. Yes, he is. But Mythic is left with only such low HP.
And all he has is Band-Aids, but that's the rule. You have to heal yourself up first before you get your teammate up. And that's exactly what he's doing. The rest of Footballists are controlling this side. And you can see every team is holding the edge because there's just no coverage. If you're in the center, you're done. And speaking of in the center, it's just Mufasa on that little off angle from Rise, just kind of holding it down for now as they're getting rezzed. And meanwhile, they actually have a little bit of time because there's just so much chaos going at the edge of these circles all over the place.
Now look, keep this in mind. Rise is one of those teams that like to really be on the aggressive page, but the position they've gotten themselves in the center of circle, if they do try and take a lot of shots on the teams, I'm pretty sure they're also going to be the center of attraction. That's what you really do not want, especially when you have a good positioning and when you're right in the smack center and don't really have a lot of cover to work with. But on the other hand, now Supermassive Blaze, Keth, quite low, exit as well. That's going to be it for that squad. Exit out the game as well, knocked off the way, and Supermassive Blaze looking quite good.
They ended up in 7th with 0 kills. That is not a good finish for them. Aton Esports, they've got 4 kills and 3, and they make it 5 right there with a nice little finish from downtown with that single shot. AK coming down in, and now the next circle is in the center of this zone, and teams are desperately sending it on in. Here comes S2G finally in with their vehicle, and he can just realize, Silas just realized there's nothing here. No coverage anywhere. Gotta have a car wall up.
Exactly. Silas just wrapping around with Bucky finally gets caught. And Vol Silence now taking out the game. It's going to be Lobezin, I think so, who's going to be trying to take care of it. But instead now Kelsey as well. The return fire to the player of Footballist is there. Footballist now left with only 3 players to work with. Supermassive Blaze looking quite good. And guess what? Coursera gets caught in the edge of the blue zone. And Choco is going to be taking full advantage of that. But on the other hand, now Aton as well looking quite decent. But they still need to make their mark inside the zone.
Solke able to get that nice little KS there. Beautifully done. So Football is still alive, rocking a full split right now. They realize with this position, they cannot group together. S2G is trying to ask the Ken from Aton, can he be able to get these shots onto S2G? And just let Solke know exactly where they're at to get some extra points on the board.
Oh, Solke definitely under the
the
radar.
angles.
He's not really catching any bullets onto himself. He's able to find a lot of shots through the smoke over there. And yes, H2G, they have created a safe smoke path for them, but still the smoke is not going to be able to block those bullets.
Solke able to find the one rock on the map, and this rock is just being, I mean, that's his best friend right now. He ain't getting moving an inch away from it. And S2G, I mean, regardless, it's so crazy to see this team get this far. I mean, considering with these little rotations and these tough circles, they're still able to get a top finish and put up some big points. Hey, we got Supermassive Blaze, Tron, in a top 3 situation.
Oh, man. Oh, man. These two teams left with only 2 solo survivors, and Footballist have 3 players alive. Footballist, it looks like they're owning this final zone. You have Rom kind of separated out from the pack. If Rom gets spotted, there's no way Rom's going to be able to get back up on his feet. So Rom will need to try and play things a little safe. Tron's position not known. Lutz might just be caught, but Lucky able to get back to safety in just the nick of time.
Tron is kicking himself right now. That was a knock that needed to happen to make it at least into a 1v1 situation, and now he's stuck in blue zone. I think he may just go out to the blue zone and not want to give those points. Oh, and look at Rom. Found Timber.
No. Oh, no.
Timber, 1v1. Timber wins it. He's gonna get the thirst. Got the point.
Oh, well,
and
there you go, Timber.
Done.
Done. Didn't really have the HP to work with. And yep, in the end, that's it. They got him. And Footballist, as you like to call it, well, they get themselves quite a banger of win here with a decent amount of kill points as well. I think it's 16 kills.
Woo! Yeah, I was about to say decent. Decent.
God damn.
Indeed, man. I mean, Footballist coming in big. That's a game that they needed. This is what I really want to see. I want to see here teams that, you know, haven't really had that insane dominant performance at least get a good couple wins here in this day, because we talked about the momentum. That mental game here at this level is ridiculously important. So Footballist getting a 16 kill win. I mean, what more could you want for your team's morale, huh?
That's like 31 points, man, in itself. Like, you get 15 points with that chicken dinner, and now like 16 points with those kills. That's like 31 points in itself. That's a huge chicken dinner from the side of Footballist. And you talk about momentum, I'm pretty sure the mental game is going to be looking so strong going inside these upcoming 2 maps, man. I just can't wait for a team like Footballist to dominate their way through in Super Weekends. A decent outing, I would say, but still could have done better. But this is where they can try and get their revenge, bro.
Oh, man, and that was not an easy circle. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, they did have the majority. They were on that thinner side, but they still hit those laydowns. They still hit those plays, and that's what I like to see. I like to see teams that didn't get circle blessed be able to put up good performances. We saw that from Footballist. We saw that from S2G. I mean, we saw S2G put up performances like crazy this whole tournament so far, right? But I mean, a lot of the teams that are kind of, you know, we're kind of thinking about a little bit, teams that we know that can dominate, it's good to see them to finally start doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely good to see like those, like those unknown faces that were all the way in the back. They're kind of like trying to show themselves up now, and especially a team like Footballist getting themselves a chicken dinner. They're also going to be having a huge momentum setup, even not just for today's upcoming 2 games, even for the upcoming days as well. And now, as you talk about H2G, I feel like that the position they've gotten themselves in the overall rankings in the Super Weekend, it's like even if they're not really able to make it up till the next 2 weeks in the top 16, they won't really need to care. They're still going to be up there.
Oh, yeah. So they're still going to be up on top. But I think this was a good finish for them, because what they don't want to do is put themselves at the bottom of day 1. And they were sitting on that at the start of these first couple matches. But here at game 3, they got a good position, a good zone, and they were able to put in some work to kind of relieve a little bit of that pressure. Look at these shots. I mean, outside, they just pop people out of vehicles all day long.
Oh, man, definitely. And the fight between Unicorns of Love and Mad Bulls, it seems like Mad Bulls weren't really able to win this one, man. The prediction's not really going through, Jukes.
You hate to see it. Glitterdamus gonna have to get her crystal ball checked, you know? I mean, usually it's on point, but maybe, you know, just after the day, you know, the little day off, collect a little bit of dust. Like a little bit of dust.
Happens once in a while, you know. It does happen once in a while. But Furious Gaming as well, a decent showing from their side. And Supermassive Blaze able to, as you mentioned, that initial lock, if Tron was able to pull it out from the side of Footballist, the game could have been done. But luckily the man for Footballist was able to make it back to safety in just that nick of time. And Aton as well, I would say at least they were able to make it up to like those final few squads alive. And as I was literally about to mention this as well, as long as Timber's alive in the game from S2G, anything can happen. And Timber tried his best to clutch it.
Oh, he tried his best indeed. Just wasn't enough there. I mean,
Yeah.
still able to put. I mean, at the end of the day, just putting up that kind of points, you're happy with that. You know, you want to put yourself out of range of not making it to the Super Weekend. So a beautiful finish from them. Still got a lot more left to go here, big baby. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
And let's send it out over to the desk first. See what they got to say.
Put your hands in. Put your hands in. 1, 2, 3. Footballers! Let's go! Footballers coming out on top of that game. Not only did they get the chicken dinner, but 16 kills. Woo! Baby. That's all I'm going to say. Spicy. That's it. That's the tweet.
That's just it. I mean, 31 points, one of the highest ones we've been able to see here too. Football is just putting up a performance here, and another team that kind of put up a performance, even there, though we don't really have that many people of them at the end, is S2G. S2G being able to show once again they can grind out those points, they can get those stats. And here, as we go towards the second page, we do have Alpha 7. They didn't have to worry about Navi, but they have to worry about other teams that definitely caught them on their rotations. And a team that I was personally looking forward to exit, see how if they were going to continue their aggressiveness. They were able to get a total of 0 elims, but at least they made it up in regards to placement points. We do have the MVP right here. Oh, Glitter. 5 elims, 1 key damage? What? That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually pretty similar to the numbers that we have been seeing Coops putting up here in the previous 2 rounds of getting MVP himself. So Rom here, very, very nice performance for Footballs. And they were one of those teams that needed to kind of pick it up a little bit here. So the fact that they just had such an insanely dominating performance, even better than the likes of a performance out of S2G, is huge for Footballists. And you can see 30% of the team contribution there for as well. And now we're looking at the most damage, but oh wait, hold on. What can we get a little of a ton up here too, 7?
Yes, we are. We have Choco being able to put up 775 damage, and that's actually a team that I wanted to talk about. This was a team that was in a way a little bit lackluster for me when we went to the Super Weekend. We saw them there. They ended up in, I think it was 16th place with 57 points, if I'm not mistaken. Aton Esports being able to put up a good performance here. I do want to, at some point, even though it's weekly league play, right? I do want them to just continue to be consistent and rising, because we know what they're capable of. We've seen them before in America's Championship. And now let's go to the leaderboard right here. Oh, a big change, Glitter. Football is in first place with 58 points, and then we have Knights with 47 points. I'm liking this aggressiveness out of all these teams.
Not too shabby. You see S2G making a nice jump up the leaderboards as well, up into 3rd place for themselves, and they're there right now without a chicken dinner, so definitely starting to perform back to what we were hoping they'd be at. Baluk Chaptan still holding on in that top 5 spot, but then on the second page here, we're going to see a few shifts as well. They might not have one, but Mad Bull's jumping up. Rise, very strong performance. We didn't even get a chance to touch on Rise here. 7. Rise at 6 elims in their first game and 6 placement points, already making a massive leap from the bottom of the leaderboard where they were, but same as Aton.
And that's what I wanted to see out of that team. I wanted to see what kind of aggressiveness they would come out here, and they did exactly pretty much what they did on the first week of league play. They came out aggressive. They got a bunch of elims that were able to kind of push themselves very high on the leaderboard even after the first game. Another team too, Besiktas Esports. They ended up in they moved up 3 spots, even though they only played 1 match, but they passed some of the teams that had already played 2 matches, like Team Kesu and I think Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, they need to make sure to really pull it through here and qualify, right, moving forward to this first Super Weekend. But you know what else people need to make sure to do? They need to make sure to play PUBG Mobile, vote for your favorite team for PMGC players, and if you get those votes right, well, you get to unlock those rewards. So go into the Esports Center in the game, watch it live, share your votes, and win these prizes, baby. And talk about more things in the Esports Center. You got the treasure boxes, the PMGC exclusive treasure box in the Esports Center. Watch PMGC live in YouTube or the in-game Esports Center once again. Get those PMGC tokens, redeem those tokens for tournament skins. Just like that. Pretty much what I'm saying here, Glitter and 7, is that the Esports Center has it all. So go in the game, check it out, and you won't regret it. And you know what else you won't regret? Sticking around, watching game number 4, Sanhok, baby, coming up with groups A, B, C, and E. So that means we're going to have Ghost Gaming, Team Queso, Fenerbahce, and Navi sitting out here this match.
Oh, we are. So
That means
now...
I'm looking at
ahead,
Brazil
Glitter.
again. I'm looking at Brazil again here. Okay, but this time I might be looking at Rise 7.
Oh, see, this time I actually want to see what Black Dragons is gonna be doing here.
Okay.
Because now they're not gonna be able to third party an SGG that kind of needs to be able to get health and all that stuff. So it's gonna be an interesting one.
You know what else is going to be interesting? This break. Send it to the break, baby.
Danny, ready for abstract.
See them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage, but Frozen cooking a grenade. Yeah, looks like Alpha 7 already going to be down a member, so we kind of see them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew he f***ed up.
Frozen cooking a grenade, tossing a grenade. It looks like it bounced off that little...
Mid, the clotheslines. He does have his teammates though in the back lines. But what I'm wondering is they have clear line of sight on the position.
Oh, God, please, no! No! No!
Oh, dude, what the hell?
And this is a highlight from that previous map. How
It's running right up. Much with that information instead of moving further forward. Now the problem is for a team like Rise is yes they can play well. I mean production please stop the savagery. I mean Rise.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Shout out to the Rubber Chickens little video right there. Definitely catching a lot of highlight plays that some of these players might not want to be showcased, but at the end of the day, you gotta laugh at it. Like Mafioso self-made right there. Oof, mistakes were made. And talking about mistakes not being made, hopefully none this game. We talked about it. Ghost, Team Queso, Fibonacci, and Navi will be sitting out here. So let me head over to Glitter. How is this going to affect this Sanhok map in your opinion?
I mean, we definitely heard Seven kind of alluding to it there for a second. Because Ghost is sitting out, we won't be having that Ghost S2G hot drop situation, which means no available third party for Black Dragons. Then the question becomes, does Black Dragon try to just straight up have that push onto a healthy and looted up S2G, or do they back off of it, Seven?
Oh, I like it. I like it that you put me on the spot there. I'm hoping that they kind of just go for it. They kind of just hot drop them, and they see what's gonna happen there now that they don't have to worry about Ghost Gaming. Usually they wouldn't do that because that'd be 3 teams hot dropping each other. That's a little bit crazier to me, and I love Mayhem, but I just want to see a hot drop from Black Dragons there, and I also want to see how Black Dragons plays, because if the circle does go north, it's gonna affect how Alpha 7 plays. So it's like a ripple effect here of that's gonna be happening during this match, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Talk about ripple effects. Man, I can't believe it's already game 4. Today is just flying by. And just a reminder, if you are just tuning in, like the main objective here, league play, top 16. That's all you need. You could be first or you could be 16th. It doesn't matter. You just need to be within that range, and then you will be making it to the Super Weekend. I still got my eyes on Exit. I feel like they got a lot riding on today and tomorrow because they did miss that first Super Weekend alongside Team Queso, who have been kind of dropping the ball, but they're not playing in this next game.
Ooh, Exit. I think it's going to come down to how aggressive they come out. Once again, if they're going to try to push people that early on in the map, and how they're going to be able to readjust to what happened in the first Sanhok, right? How they're going to be able to readjust if it is Knights or whichever team it is. How are you going to make that push? Because we saw, I think on the first push, if I'm not mistaken, J7 got caught super early and it stopped. Whatever they had in mind, it was straight to plan B.
Yeah, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but I'm a true believer in momentum. Football is a huge game last game. I'm really curious to see how they translate into this game, but let's get into it. Sanhok, baby!
Sanhok, baby, Mustache Dave, thank you very much from the analyst desk. We're hitting up on one more time the Rumble in the Jungle here. Hot Jukes. You're with me, baby. It's gonna be a big one. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling pumped for this game.
Oh, yes, sir. Finally, your boy gets to cast some Sanhok. I'm ready. I'm pumped. Oh, man, dude, let's go. Let's go. Well, I know where my eyes are going to be. Highland, where are yours, though? What are you looking at right now?
My eyes are where we're looking right now here. Oh, my days,
yes,
though.
Sir.
Look at that zone. I was looking at S2G and I got bamboozled for that one. Look at that. That's a whopper of the first phase here. Oh, Jukes. Well, I started off lightly in this second week, and neither is Rise. Already down a member.
QBU coming up big at the start. I mean, we're starting to see First Bloods action off the rip here. That's a tough start for them, but this is a horrible start for everybody. I mean, this first circle, this is like one of the most toxic zone in all of Sanhok. Literally anybody who lands on that island there in the northwest are set. They're set pretty. So right now when I'm looking at it, I want to see Baluk Japton get crazy points here because they have to. Like, this is their game. This is their circle. Gotta show up. Can't get beat down.
This is like if you could get the Glitter Domus effect already in phase 1, Baluk Japton have got it. This is about as free as you get of any game in the world of PUBG, and I think it's also pretty darn good, though, for those outlier teams. I think you're looking towards Eastern Stars, except to an extent, they can wrap around the rest of their team, as they have gone for a 4-1 split from that northwestern side all the way over towards that boot camp hill, so we're going to need to regroup. I think the exit is going to be wise for them to finish that looting phase quicker, go use that L compound, of course, and then use that extra loot moving in onto that northwestern zone, because these bridges, to be fair, these are going to be where actually we expect a lot of these fighting to be, because it's already in this phase 1. Talking about fighting, I'd hold my breath though, because next warrior, right, they weren't quite done yet. There's the second one, but look at that, oh my days. Talking about style though.
Let's go!
That's about as stylish as you get. The seal is on board and we're racing.
The bow tape, baby! Mad Bulls pulling out the big strats. I kid you not. Highland Wolf. I have seen plenty of bow tapes here at Sanhok at this high level. And so far, I have seen a 0% effective rate. 0! So Mad Bulls.
Don't jinx it.
Oh no, I'm jinxing it, bro. I mean, I want to see it happen. I want to see Mad Bulls get a chicken dinner here and break the curse. Break the curse.
Oh, okay. Okay, phew. I thought we were jinxing it. So I was like, no, not the sad Bulls.
It's already jinxed.
Too much
It's already
sadness in
jinxed.
week 1.
It's already jinxed
that's
at the start. The fact that they touched
That's-
the boat at Sanhok is illegal. So right now,
oh no.
you know, they are breaking the law. They are breaking
Getting
the law.
arrested. The Blue Zone police, it's already coming down. Papa Blue's gonna come after him, right? I mean, you're here, Jukes. It's just a statement. You're right. It's just that. It's just straight up.
Dude, that's a big one, dude. That's a big, you know what? We ain't messing around right here. Oh, Furious Gaming. All right. On the side of the water. Oh, they are way out there. For some reason, I thought they were in Hot 10. They are not in Hot 10. They're way over here by... yeah, it looks like they are going to catch a couple of players over here. Papi Potro trying to get some shots off, and they are quite a whiles away from the blue zone, and that finish onto the vehicle gets a nice kill.
Oh man, I mean, production, please. You gotta stop. You gotta stop being so savage to this poor Papa Potro guy.
Dang.
He got himself redeemed in game number 3, but game number 2. Oh, what a disaster that came back. And I think it's going to be another disaster, really, in waiting for Furious Gaming. They've got such a distance to travel. I mean, you can already see it, them on the rotation, right? It's the only way you can get across. But it's going to be a long one at that, because they're going to be so late to all of these other teams. And a majority of them already, if not on that Northwest Island, going to be heading it up into that Northwest Island in the next few moments. S2G, another one of those teams already making a quicker rotation. But as you said rightly so, you talked about Baluk Chuptan, right? Controlling that mountain. Well, it's a bit of a shame here for Baluk Chuptan, because they're actually giving up the position to Eastern Stars. Eastern Stars now control that mountain top.
Yeah, they'd opt to go a little bit deeper into the island. We'll have to see if it plays off. It's not a bad play, considering of where this circle could possibly shift to, but they don't have any clue yet. And oh, we're gonna see Kill Switch with a beautiful turn. Xset looking to make some noise here in this Sanhok game. We're already seeing a ton of teams already get the rotation. As a matter of fact, Mad Bulls, right, on the boat tape, it worked out already. They made it onto the island safely. That's already huge.
Yeah, they're going to be in a little bit of a firefight, though, because STG also rotating towards them, so it could be contention on that more northwestern coastline itself. But to look back, of course, equally important, I think some of these other teams. Oh my days!
Oh my gosh!
That's fat stat right there.
Stop it, Coops. Jeez, Louis. I mean, he said he wanted to be the MVP of the West, and I mean, he is really just making a name. I mean, he's already made a name for himself, but he's just pressing the issue here. We're going to start seeing some beautiful kills. Footballists, you know, that momentum Dave was talking about, they had it. And now it's looking like it's starting to dwindle as they try to make a pretty ballsy rotation on this bridge. They had to know that was covered. And
yeah,
they know now.
It's
they know
mistake,
now.
Right?
They know now. Yeah.
They know for sure. They know for sure.
They know now.
They feel it. They feel that pain. They're already in game 5. Pain out of that mistake. But I think the Supermassive Blaze, excellent work again, camping those bridges. We said they were going to be important, and I think those earlier rotations, right, from these teams, highly rewardable because of the fact that you are going to be so vulnerable if you're a late rotation, and the fact that you can take so much priority over these zones in these bridges as well. I think Supermassive Blaze, they are getting shot up though by Exit. I said they could try to potentially punish Exit actually there by stepping over, trying to camp them from moving from their current location, but Killswitch has other ideas, as he almost takes down Coursera, who will get back on the hillside and will be healing up, but still, Exit not going to be topped right yet, is still behind them though. Supermassive Blaze. Footballists are rotating slowly further forward into this zone as we've approached what is probably our one quiet time we're going to get here. Jukes, there's like this one moment in games like these where it slows down and we get a brief moment of respite. Yes, Baluk Chaptan, they're losing a member or two, but I will be held to that point because it's about to get a lot crazier and it's only going to go upwards from here.
Oh, absolutely. So right now, everybody is just holding their position, waiting for the next circle, right? And when it comes to this, they have to make decisions and make plays. Look at those shots. Wow. Beautifully done. I mean, these guys don't miss. If you just make the slightest little miss rotation, you're done. Furious Game, they're out the boat. Oh, babe, look at this. Papi Potro. Like the lead whale of the group. Not the group. I believe it's pod. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, on the pod. Exactly right.
He's heading up the pod right now with that level 3 helmet. Yeah, because that level 3 helmet, that's not going to get that salt water out of his eyes. So he's got the vision. He's got the vision for his squad. But does he have the right plan? That's my question.
Yeah. Is it the pod diff? Is that what we're talking about here, Jukes? Is it the pod diff? They're going to come into Hartin. They're going to have the gills ready to come back onto land, or they're just going to get choked out. I mean, maybe they belong in the water after all. I mean, Hartin, it's not in the water here, Dave. I mean, Jukes, to be fair.
Oh man, I mean, it's wide open. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to see Hot's still completely free right now. And you know, if Furious Gaming can really kick it up, get their Michael Phelps on, you know, they may be able to make it there safely. But I mean,
get that gold medal.
Yeah, they need that gold right now, because I'll tell you what, Rise, they're on land. And they are going to have the leg up here to be able to cross that bridge. Because unless actually crossing that bridge is going to be pretty risky. Still, it's so crazy to see that wide open. Oh, it's Timber. Is he going to get that little pixel? Does he get the shots?
He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. Don't do it.
No, not yet.
Don't do this to me. Jukes, they're not going to have it. Mad Bulls, though, on the front, more so. And actually, I think, to be fair, you can also praise then actually the move from Baluch Tan, right? Because they moved actually towards that center of phase 2. They just knew. They just knew, Jukes. That's what it was. They just absolutely knew that was where the zone was going to be. They just had the foresight. They have the crystal ball that we were looking for.
Finally. I mean, this is the one that they needed. I mean, they needed to borrow it for sure. So they are chilling right now for the time being. We're still in that early circle. I mean, it's so crazy because Sanhok is just so chaotic right off the start that still it's only circle 2. Like, it's still very early in this game. And we saw a lot of action to start off. And look at this right here. Well, the Black Dragons get a nice little point under their belt.
I feel like if I want something, it's going to happen. I was like, we've not seen this many kills, right, Jukes? We've only seen 6 people die and then Black Dragons to show up with our 7th kill of the game, but still, it's still single digits. And actually, I think it has to be fair, considering the phase 1 to phase 2 that we saw, you would have expected more people to die, even if these teams are going to play passive and smart in their positioning, just by the nature of this. So the next we're finally approaching over Alpha 7. Revo is slowly there, considering there's Frozen will jump down. Revo will find him, and that will also be the rest of Yepka taken down by Revo. 1 confirmed, not quite though. The vision is there still from him. Revo, he can't take 3 all at once, and he will be firsted away. Frozen on the back end will provide also that crossing point as well for the rest of next Roy. But can A7 hold up? Can they get rid of Frozen? Because this is a crucial part for A7 as they come up forward into the fight. Carrillo, I think, has spotted him, and now in Frozen, he's been busted. His position is now located, and you can see the nade come in behind. He's going to dodge out one, but he has to walk forward on the back end. Rio, I don't think he's actually been spotted. He might now, as he finds potentially the kill, but no, he doesn't. Rio still switches back from the top to the bottom and takes down 2 the next Warrior. It's a disaster.
Frozen with the crazy risky play, but I mean, he was so far out of position. I think he just realized that he had to set it. If he wins that 1v1, then that puts them in a really, really good spot. But Carrillo, I mean, just too good. Shuts him down, gets the revenge, so they're going to be even things up, you know, with 3 players on 3. Swimmers!
We're going back to the pod. The pod diff here, Jukes. That's what I'm telling you. There's Rise. Better police. They're going to arrest him. We're talking about getting arrested from the rotation. I don't think it was quite like this. Rise. Oh no, you can't do this to Papi Potro. They're waiting for him to come up for breath. They're not fishies. They need air. They've got to come up eventually, and Rise are going to shoot him down.
And here comes the evil Gary, dude. Gary, the legend, on the back of the jet ski. Papi Potro, he can't breathe. Oh, the Jukes.
That's
1,000 peekaboo here.
Right there.
Legend. Oh, but Rise is just looking for kills. And Papi Potro's, oh, he can't drown for even 1 more second. Or touch the blue zone. If one of those things happens, he's dead. So he's already in big trouble.
Coming in a minute.
Yep.
It's coming. It's coming behind him. Triggers
got him! Gary!
Oh, no, he's been popped. Gary, he's a brutal menace here inside the water. He is the Undertaker right now.
Oh my goodness, Papi Potro's in huge trouble. Just the last single little whale. Just trying to beach himself here, and at the same time, Hot 10 now taken by Rise Esports. Gary, you know, busting out the fishing pole and just picking up some nice kills in the process.
He yoinked him.
Got him. Got him.
He don't need chicken dinners. He's got whales for his meal here, Jukes. And Supermassive Blaze. They're in one unit moving across. Fortunately for Esh, he missed that grenade though. We're going to feel bad about that one because now we're getting closer. They are talking about animals, talking about the fish. How about we have some wolves? Supermassive Blaze are surrounding him. Fresh is completely eaten by Crusader off the back end. It will be nommed to pieces. And talking about, of course, Supermassive Blaze, who have actually been stomping so far on top of the kills, right now 5. They've been on a killing spree when they're taking out all of these, as you say, whales coming around their outside.
Man, looking good. That was a beautiful 3-1 split there from Supermassive Blaze. I mean, Fresh never even stood a chance, just got eaten alive, like you mentioned. So, I mean, Supermassive Blaze, they got the momentum. They got some nice start there. 5 kills so far, off of 7 with 3. Leading the charge here in the Sanhok match. Xset, man. Oh, Xset. When I see this squad, right now, what I want to see from them is I need to see Kill Switch start flipping that switch. He's got to turn it on here. Because, you know, Polo, definitely making plays. Kill Switch, a legend too. But if Kill Switch really starts just making things happen, we're going to see Xset really start to get on fire, just like Monkey.
Oh, no. There's my builds. They pull out. We saw in the chicken dinner plays. Is for now S2G will hold up for now. My bulls, they have recovered. They have been able to douse themselves. The firefighters also coupling up as bulls. They work as both. S2G still holding firm as now Yin Yang. Agri on the flank side. I don't think S2G.
I like Mad Bull's position. I think they have the leg up here. I mean, they have the outside advantage, so they're going to be able to press here, but they got to be careful here because S2G don't mess around. If you make one mistake, they're going to take advantage of it, but Mad Bull should have this win. Oh, it looks like they're going to hop in the buggy. An ejection. Oh, we're out of here. Bull said, see ya.
Oh, they're gone.
Out
We're going into
safety? The else about to say question mark? Oh, he gets knocked out the back. What? Timber. Goes Timber. Chelsea actually hopped the window. So risky. Reyes is going to throw a nade inside. Yeah, it looks like S2G's done here.
Oh, he dodges out for now, though, S2G. But what about fire squads? Reyes, should I say here? A lot of ease here. That's more ease in my name. And I've got a lot of ease in my name. I've got ease in both my names, actually. Have you got ease in your name? I mean, we got more ease in Kelsey because Kelsey's he's got no ease left. He's dead.
I'll tell you what. Right now, all he's saying is, you know, that hurts.
Too many ease.
Yeah.
It's too many ease for him to handle. Yeah.
That one hurt right there. I mean, but still, you know, well executed at the try. But look at this circle. I mean, every team is using this strategy. Hard shift, hug the circle, and go to the hardship side. Like, that is like the oldest rule of all. But what happens when every single team knows this rule? Nothing but chaos. I mean, so many squads lined up here. Aton, Mad Bulls, Supermassive Blaze actually in the best position, applying some really good pressure. Here's Catch. Oh, headshot. Oh, the nade in return. Aton Cardi.
That should not be allowed. That should not be allowed there, Jukes, but we're still going to take it through anyways. Another puts him even lower, and Kef will fall, like the rest of Supermassive Blaze will do to a solo. As there come the plays. Carly, equally solo, though. He pops his head up. Very, very risky indeed, but he gets it back down again in time. Yes, he does, but look who's coming. Bappa Blue. It's looking to Nomad Milo's Choco. We've got the smokes down, but where do Atom move from there? We've got nowhere to go, and on the small screen, that's where the fighting really is. And shooting Unicorns of Love. Talk about being bullied. Talk about being taken to the rules. Well, we've got a rules of X-Set on them now.
Bob, with the challenge? Oh, we saw the headshot marker come up right before that switch. Unicorns of Love at X-Set, you know, chilling in probably one of the dominant positions here as this circle started to close. They're going to have to start fighting. I think they're going to hang out as neighbors for now. I don't think they're going to pressure each other at all until this next zone shifts. They're just going to be chilling and poking at each other.
Would they be good neighbors, though? I'm not sure.
They're going to be neighbors regardless. They have to be choice.
Oh, they have to be. We're forcing him in.
They signed the lease. They signed the lease agreement.
Ah, okay, I see. They signed a contract. That's it. That's it done. They can't not be neighbors now. It's completely done and sold, just like Mad Bulls. Looking pretty sold out. This is going to be put to the meat farm right now. Fernan, he's looking for it. He's going to put in the electrical shocker into this Mad Bull. There he goes down. Goodbye. See you later. Mad Bull's wiped from the earth.
Love to see Fernan switch to FPP. Also decided to jump early and jump into that window to avoid that animation. Just in case, just to get the finish. Next circle goes on up a little bit north here. Highland Wolf, what do you think about this one?
Ooh, that zone. That is pretty tough, though, to be fair. You're looking now at a lot of those teams who took around that mountainside, right, Jukes? Coming down, making that rotation. You can see Adam. They're not going to have a successful rotation, no. The Knights will clean up both of those fallen members. Now the rest of the two remaining members of Asson joining back, of course, to that firefight, as we talked about. Up on towards the mountain. The Besiktas also joined now also by the thing of Black Dragons. Looking to try and stop them.
And in Baluk Chapter, they had this circle, you know, sitting pretty well at the start. They're still alive. They're still holding it down. So far, 3 kills to their name. So good start. This is what I wanted to see for them. Unicorns love. Oh, Josh gets that first aid off just in time. And he's looking to try to get some points as well. Oh, just put a little bit of pressure and say, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that for now. He has got 1 first aid left. Looks like he's trying to press exit here. I'm surprised he didn't just hop in that buggy and send it. And because of that, gets taken out by Jay.
Black Dragons.
Oh, Papa Blue.
They're holding on. They think they've found him. There they go. Besiktas. Right. It's a massacre. Zetsi does survive. He finds 2 in his massacres on both fronts just for Squeezing. He's on his own. GC God. There's no way he gets out of that one, but an 8 will do it. Squeezing finds it, and that's going to be the savior for his team, but he's got to get quickly down to the revives. 20 seconds before that zone goes. It's going to take the entirety before that blue zone moves to get him back up. He's talking about nades. Black Chaptan. They're getting taken down by Knights. Another nades takes him through. Coops. What a player. What can this guy not do today here? He MVP twice. Looking for it a third time.
I'll tell you what, he cannot throw. He cannot throw. He is just on fire right now. Like some really good pressure. Nadion, I think he's just going for that crate, trying to get some first aids. Oh, he's stuck. He knows he's got to go. He cannot. He's either going to die to blue zone right now or get this kill. And Ferdinand is able to catch Coops on the side from that beautiful off angle. Does have some first aids to boot as well. We're going to start seeing the hill strats come out big time because, I mean, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb.
Oh, but I don't think they can climb it. I don't think they have the footwork to summit. Baluk Chaptan's gone, and I think Rise might just be next. A7 is in amongst the cliff side that they look to try to take this fight towards the end. But A7, they're outside of the zone, and Rise, they don't have to move. They actually have control of this one. As you talk about these players scaling to the top, well, it looks like Alpha 7. They won't be able to stop them do it. This nade bounces wide. Only takes Gary to half HP, but Fosqueezing also bounces one back. Oh, almost. If only it landed a little bit further.
This is not the 4th of July that Rise wanted. They do not want these kind of fireworks. I mean, but these nades are coming in hot. Carrillo. I mean, he went to the store and he got the good stuff. He has that nade locked and loaded. Oh, Gary! With the shivvies, barely bounces away from that one. You know, his hearing.
Oh, he doesn't bounce away from that.
As he goes down, Gary finally getting caught. And Mufasa's like, you know what, Gary? I'm going to chill right here. But guess what? Not for long. We're going back to the lobby.
He is going. He's a fast track, one-way ticket to the lobby here is Black Dragons. They steal the show. They want to have the fireworks, that chicken dinner to their name. Alpha 7, they got other ideas, so they'll knock for Squeezing out as Chico comes up to the top and applies 2 points of pressure. Then Squeezing down. Now, Revolutionary going to go forward into the fight, but where can he go? He's got nowhere. He has to play the Rise strat, but that didn't work out for them, and I don't think it's working out for him either. As they circle in, Chico, he's got the shot set true. He finds it, but Alpha 7, they sneak up in behind, and Carrillo, with the shots, takes down the rest, and Black Dragon's dead. Alpha 7, they're the ones with the fireworks here, Jukes. They're the ones with the chicken dinner.
Woo-wee! Alpha 7, baby! I mean, the Sanhok legends, dude. What can you say? They got the side of that position. They got up, and I've seen them personally make this fight multiple times. And he gets that it was just well executed.
Oh man, I mean, you're looking further towards. Oh, I've come back. Have I come back? Yes.
Let's go.
I'm surviving. Am I here?
Same. We're moving, bro. We're moving, and we are. That's what I'll talk about. Just cruising on through here, just like Alpha 7. Just like Alpha 7. I'm surprised though when it comes to Baluk Chaptan. You know, seeing their position, I expected a little bit more out of them. Can't lie.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're back. I struggled. I couldn't handle. My connection couldn't handle that win. To be fair, Alpha 7, they were pretty fire. They were making that cash, that dollar bills. They came to that kill, so to be fair, they were fair. Oh yeah, they were taking it all, the Jukes, when it came to that game. They had total dominance of that mountainside. But I think, to be fair, Alpha 7, when they made that rotation through, they had a long way to go. They came from Boot Camp Hill, and actually the rotation coming in onto that zone was real class. They took their time, they waited for everyone else to come into that zone, be eaten up by their opponents, and then they sneaked their way in. And actually, they relied on those kills towards the end, in that position towards the end.
I mean, if it comes to any kind of strategy, Alpha 7 relying on their gun skill, that is like number one. I mean, this is what they do. This is what they do. So they hold that edge of that circle, stick together side by side, and they just start clapping, baby. And that's exactly what happened. Speaking of clapping, we're seeing some nice little early plays here. Yeah, look at this supermassive blaze. Definitely made some noise at the start of this game.
Oh, they did for sure. I think at Supermassive Blaze, you could see them at the start. But this assassination coming through from Rice, I mean, that was awful. Gary, that is diabolical when it comes to in that ocean side. But it didn't stop there. I mean, Rice have got a taste of their own medicine, right, as we move further towards the end of this game, as all of them started to get taken out, rotating into zone. Man, they tried their best, of course, effect getting taken out, and as we finally make it to, of course, that top side, that mountain, right? That's where it all ended. Black Dragons that came down, but they couldn't defend it. They couldn't defend it.
Oh, look at Carrillo with that laydown play. Beautifully done. I mean, Besiktas, they were able to put a little bit of suppressor, but once Papa Blue came knocking, everybody had to go running, dude. Man, guess what? You couldn't run too far because Papa Blue's too fast. Just eliminated everybody. And then right here at the top, that's where it all ended out. You know, we saw a beautiful pinch there at the end from Alpha 7 and Pittsburgh Knights to get that finish, but then Alpha 7 just with the numbers and their gun skill just too strong.
They wiped that game, as we said. They got the fat stacks, but can they keep it up? Well, we're heading to the analyst desk, Mustache Dave, 7WG, and Glitter to see what they think of that game.
A Sanhok. It's not a Sanhok if people aren't swimming. We had Mad Bulls in the boat tape. We had Rise on the aqua rail, and then Furious Gammon just snorkeling down there. But A7, wow, coming out on top.
Back-to-back chicken dinners, Glitter, in Sanhok? Yes,
on
please.
Sanhok. It's Brazil, man. Brazil and Sanhok. Because even, yes, okay, A7, crush it. 11 elims, another chicken dinner on Sanhok. However, 7, you said you were also looking at Black Dragon. Second place, 8 eliminations. And I mean, that's huge.
That is huge. I mean, completely different. They decided not to hot drop SCG. I don't know. But we'll see. I don't know. I just want to see S2G. That's actually a huge surprise right there for me to be able to see them with 0 points. That's I'm used to see, especially coming out of Sanhok, them picking on Ghost. Oh,
hey.
Take it, Glitter. We've been talking about this player for a
minute. We
love
to see it. Well, this is actually huge though, because in the last win for A7, I was pointing it out when we were looking at it. Carrillo didn't even get any eliminations last time around. This time he's at 6. Okay, that's more than half of the eliminations for this squad. And he manages to do it with 830 damage. So he makes like a really good conversion there. That's very, very efficient. I mean, this is a Carrillo that we are used to, though. He's somebody that I think coming into this, we would have been potentially looking at for a lot of MVP for performances in general. So this is not necessarily surprising, but it is nice to see when you compare it to how much work the other players were doing in the last Sanhok match.
Definitely. I mean, with him being such a player, right? Being such a player that can be such a huge impact to the game, it's good to see him finally starting to wake up. This is the kind of numbers that we want to see out of him. And then we go to a team that I've been really wanting to see how they've been going to be performing. Buluk Chaptan being able, Fernan especially here, being able to get 4 LM, 650 damage, being able to contribute 51% for his team. This is good for this team, and this is a team that I definitely want them to do good. I want them to be able to make it to their first Super Weekend, Dave.
Yeah, Carrillo right there, I believe, upgrading to 3 eyebrow slits here this season. So you got to assume dude's going to be gaming out here. But Buluk, once again, kind of popping off just a little bit just in time as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, they did not qualify, right, for Super Weekend number 1. So they definitely need to make sure that they are going to be running on all cylinders here this league play week to make sure to find themselves in Super Weekend number 2. PUBG Mobile Global Championship, though. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. But here's the rankings. So what are we thinking?
Ooh, whoa. Look at all the jump of just the first page. I mean, Black Dragon's now up in 5th place. Buluk Chaptan is now in 4th place. A7 continue to climb. And that lead that Footballist and Knights have been kind of battling back and forth for, while Knights do jump back up in 1st, that lead's starting to shrink, 7, and things are getting closer.
It definitely is. And then we go to the second page here. We have Exit in 13th place. This is reminding me, oh man, this is giving me bad flashbacks here. Seeing Exit still on this second page. I know what happened last week. I don't want it to happen again. Luckily, I think in this next match, we will be able to see some of the teams that have been sitting out, some of the teams that haven't been able to play as many matches as well. Ghost Gaming, I'm going to be looking at them. Team Kesso as well. Navi too. It's going to be interesting to see how this team's turning around, because, I mean, that was, in a way, the halfway point for today. We passed the halfway point now. We're going to see how they're going to be reacting. And some of these teams, just for the viewers, they do play more matches here. Some teams play more matches on the first day that they're going to be playing on the second game. So those teams, I'm going to be looking out to see how they close out today.
And talking about the teams, don't forget about the fan favorite that's going on right now. Play PUBG Mobile. Vote for your favorite PMGC team and player. You log into the esports center within the game. You watch the game live through there. You vote. You share your vote. And if you're correct, you can unlock rewards there. And talking about more rewards, we got the treasure box, the PMGC exclusive treasure box, also in the esports center. You watch it, you get the token, and you redeem it for that tournament PMGC outfit. Looking good, looking fly, looking fresh, if I had to say so myself. And just to kind of double back on that leaderboard to keep in the back of your minds here, Buluk kind of slowly but steady climbing up, but Team Queso, Ghost Gaming down there at the bottom. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the last match of today, A, B, D, and E. So that means A7, Black Dragons, Mad Bulls, and Unicorns of Love will be sitting out this final matchup today.
They definitely are. Something to keep in mind too, Dave, is that last week our cutoff point, at least for the teams that were going to be going to Super Weekend, was 41 points. So some of these teams at the top are setting themselves a big cushion. They're going to be able to maybe, especially with week of league play, like they're going to be able to try different stuff with the kind of cushion that they're giving themselves. And one of those teams you just mentioned, Buluk Chaptan, I want to see what they're going to be able to do and if they can maybe try different strats.
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out exactly what is going to happen in the final match of today, but not before we send it to this quick break. We'll be right back.
Danny, ready for abstract.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
We are back. One more game to go. Week 2, day 1, league play about to be in the books here. Sending it to Erangel. It's going to be pretty spicy, pretty exciting. We talked a little bit about the teams at the very bottom who really need to strap on their shoes, make sure they're tied, and not trip over themselves this last and final match because they don't want to come in tomorrow with the point disadvantage. Right, Seven? Glitter!
Listen,
It
I got
happened.
this.
Seven. It happened.
I got
I was saying. I was talking about Team Queso, man. Team Queso is looking to be that team that might not make it on back-to-back Super Weekends. And you know what that means. They're probably not going to make it to the finals if that happens. So I need to see a wake-up call out of them like I need to wake up my microphone.
Hey, you know what you don't need to wake up is the One Plus because it has flagship performance, immersive 120 Hz display, hyper touch technology made for gamers. The One Plus 9 and 9 Pro. That's your best shot of climbing up these leaderboards, baby. And talking about waking up, Glitter, any team that you want to see wake up here in this final match?
Yes, there is actually, and I'm glad that you asked me, Dave. I appreciate that. I want to see more out of Besiktas, okay? Because they're another squad that needs it. They need some points, they need better performances, and they need a Super Weekend qualification. And they are similar, Seven, to Queso right now on that spot when it comes to the leaderboards. So they're going to need to step it up.
I mean, they definitely will. This is the team that I was talking about earlier. They did, at least on the first game that we saw, right? They scored some points that were able to get above Team Queso. But, oh, man, I said it last week of League Play. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see those teams that kind of play out all of their matches, and then they're watching those last 2 matches just like what happened at Exit. They seemed like they were going to be going to the Super Weekend. All of a sudden, the teams that were below them decided to pop off, and it pushed them off the Super Weekend. So, I don't know. You don't want to put yourself in that kind of situation. At least that's just me.
No, I think that's a great point. I think a lot of people wouldn't want to put themselves in that situation and talk about being in the situation. Well, we're going to have 16 teams in the situation for this final match. Match 5 out of 5 here for league play. About 40 seconds to go. We kind of talked about it game 1, and I'm going to throw it back here once again for the final game of the evening. Simple yay or nay. And I think you both know where I'm going with this one. Yay or nay? Yay or nay? S2G getting a chicken dinner this game. S2G. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Yay.
Okay, we're split.
Split. Hey, split once again down the middle, just like I like to see it. And S2G, I'm bringing them up because they were so strong last week. But where are they today? Where's the chicken today? That's what I want to see. We saw them hot drop Ghost a little bit earlier on. They came out on top. But where's the chicken? We need that chicken from S2G to continue to reign their dominance on the lobby. So, final match of the evening. Players, I'm going to say it, strapping on their parachutes, loading up the plane, getting the boots on. Let's head into the match.
The final match of the first day, week number 2 here, Necro. We're jumping on board, and I am ready just as much, even more so, than that Sanhok game. And that's a statement for me. Sanhok's like my favorite map. I had like a hard zone, and now I'm expecting even more. The tone has been set. I want to see that South Island finish. I want to see it again, even though we've seen 2 already. I'm biased.
My mic? What's up?
Oh, it is. And what a final game is going to be here as we're jumping down, of course, over to George Paul, seeing our final teams leave their plane pass, start their journey on board. Of course, Alpha 7 not going to be here when it comes to this match because we're getting rid of that Group D in that zone. Oh my goodness. We are genie. We've got a genie. We had the lamp. We rubbed it, Necro. We get that South zone. We get those wins. We take them.
Till now, I mean, in the first game they were doing quite good, but after that the performance has been coming downhill.
Oh man, heading over towards Supermassive Blaze. Gonna be them over and towards their first settlement here. And on towards the center of the map, that prison side, gonna be where they'll land up. As X said, also gonna cross over towards that South Bridge. And this is something we actually saw. I'm gonna head back towards our first game. We're going all the way back in time to the first game of the PMGC West. And X said took his position. Actually, they got wiped in that position there, Necro. They actually didn't manage to hold that at all, and they got pushed away by Alpha 7. Now, Alpha 7 are not here in all intents and purposes. That nightmare is gone. But they're still got to be able to defend against the rest here.
Mm-hmm. You know what this circle really reminds me of, Ju? My bad, Jake. Oh man, I'm just really used to all Jukes over here, man. My bad, bro. I accidentally called you Jukes. My bad. I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna hold on to my words for now. It's Fenerbahce on the receiving end, and exit Polo spotting a player out in the open. Rebellion took quite a lot of damage, but he's back into safety, and now he's gonna be able to patch himself back up. But yeah, this circle definitely reminds me of that Week 1 league match as well. If you remember the first match of the league day 1 in Super Weekend 1, this was the exact same kind of circle, right? And we saw Exit using that same compound.
I think it's rightly so, right? Can Exit defenders, can they change their ways? Because actually we've seen through the entirety today, actually, Exit have been much more informed as that aggressive team and much more stylistically capable of taking those defenses to fruition. I think now, can Exit try to hold that? I'm not so sure, because you can see a lot of these teams in the way that they're rotating down. It's going to be very clustered. I actually would admire Exit to give this position up. You're looking more towards actually heading in towards Novo. Is that more center point? Could be slightly better for them, making sure they've got that high ground, a hill beside it. And because they're not using that vision, you actually see here Eastern Stars edging in behind them, and this is something Eastern Stars also stereotypically do when it comes to these 7 zones, who they drop there themselves already. We'll find it. That's 3. No. Oh no, that's a disaster. What has happened? That's about 1 second. Tick, tick, boom, Team Queso, and in. This wiped them all. He didn't even take out the vehicle. He took them all out individually. That's insult to injury.
What? I blinked my eyes and H2G was out the game. They were just straight up heading into his crosser and easily was able to mow them all down. And H2G now out the game on 16th place in the final game of Week 2, League Day 1. Oh, they're not going to be having a good night's sleep, but it's fine, you know. As actually, I'm wrong. They're going to be having a good night's sleep. They're already doing pretty good. And honestly, I feel like even if they're not really able to qualify in this Super Weekend, which is unlikely, they're still going to be doing pretty good. They're still big chilling.
Oh man, S2G, I think you're seeing a slight drop in their plays, and I think they're trying to play not as on form, you could say, as what they did in the Super Weekend. It's this thing, right? This idea that if you're in the league stage, you don't try as hard because you're saving all your energy for the Super Weekend. Stop fit to that, Necro. You gotta be able to put out 100% all the time, every single day, 5 days of the week. In PMGC West, don't get another chance like this in the rest of the year. In Ghost, they're gonna be regretting that position right there. Beowulf taken out by Frozen. For Frozen has to be quick. He's got to move. He's got to evacuate that area because Ghost is circling around, and so's now next Rhea. They're looking for the support. Kudor comes in, but Kudor, he's got no support in the back end. His god is dead. So is Kudor. It is 2 straight back to Spec.
And talking about Ghost, man, they're sitting all the way in the bottom of the overall rankings. 2 players being taken out by Specs. Beowulf should be able to get himself back up on his feet. And now Ghost, they've gotten this control they've gotten control of this entire area for themselves. 2 players being taken out the game from the side of next Ruya. They're not really going to be feeling themselves that great. On the other hand, a team like Ghost have gotten themselves already 2 points. That's a great start for the final game.
So many of these teams, though, despite those coming towards that zone, they need to get in that zone. I mean, we think about the likes of Na'Vi, of course, North Georgia Pole football is there, but actually Baluk Chatan all the way up towards that northern side, needing to rotate down past Yasnaya Poliana. A lot of these teams who have been playing on that slower pace, and I think a slight mistake here, considering that actually this zone is not going to play towards that. You can see those like Eastern Stars heading in for those kills. They have the pace in hand, but Eastern Stars, we're talking about pace, we're talking about going to bed. Bed being put tonight in their bed by Exet as Eastern Stars. Polo steps up forward. Yes, 2 have gone to sleep. There goes the 3rd. They're being drugged down. Exet, they put a cloth over their mouth and they said, it's time. It's time for sweet dreams, Eastern Stars. Just like the stars you are, back into the sky you go. There's Jay, he hunts them down, and there's one more.
Oh, look at them. They're on a high Exet. They do know where the final man is, or at least they have a little bit of idea, but Aethys doing a good job not really revealing himself in this position. But guess what? He's not going to be able to do so for so long. He peeks out, takes a couple of shots on the J7, but guess what? Jay, his homie, got his back from the back, and Jay is going to be putting the final nail in the coffin, saving J7 from the side of Exet, and Exet pretty much eating them alive. Eastern Stars out the game in 15th place. I do like some early game fights, and well, guess what? The circle is what is kind of helping in causing so much chaos.
Yeah, I think it was a slight mistake coming through from Eastern Stars. They tried to play one further back, and the rest were trying to push full manners. Unfortunately, Fenerbahce can hold firm. This is great work coming through from Valky. He dodges out with a trigger discipline onto 1, but I think Xenox, he might have spotted him from the backside as he comes through forward, but he's not looking in that position. And Valky, who does hold, doesn't go for the first, will keep himself alive for now because of this. Or they are searching. Alucard, Xenox, I think they know someone might be in the vicinity. I think they found him. They spot him. Valky, he's got to go. He's got to make a 1v4. I don't think it's going to be Team Queso 1v4, though, as he's only going to find 1. Here he goes, Fenerbahce's 4th man down to a trio.
Oh, man, Fenerbahce not really looking good. 1 man being taken out, was separated from the rest of the pack, so he will have to pay the price for it. And look at that, circle is shifting up north on the right side. That's a good side of relief for teams that are upcoming late, especially teams like Na'Vi that like to make that late rotation. Teams like Rise as well, they were quite late. Teams like Bullock, they're going to be having themselves a safe compound, or at least they're going to be having a huge advantage over the teams that are going to be coming up from the south side, including teams like Exet and Furious Gaming. Both these teams were on the struggling phase, but Exet now off to a great start in this game. That's going to help them out quite a lot to at least have a decent performance in the final game.
Yeah, I think if you're a team like Team Queso, right, you can circumvent this zone by going across the western bridge, making a speedy rotation. You can save yourself. But if you're on that eastern side, right, you're a team like Ghost, you're rotating in and you get popped away, you get blown up. But even more problems for those like Exet, right, Supermassive Blaze, you talked about Furious Gaming already. These teams along the bridge side, them coming into zone, it's going to be so difficult, so impossible as that front line starts to get crowded, starts to get surrounded by all of these players. You can see Knights over in Mills of Power. I actually think that the only sneaky play that is actually good left on this map is if you're going to head towards that shelter side. And Bashik is actually one of these teams who, rotating through prison currently, heading over towards Mills of Power, I think they're actually missing out on this opportunity, heading towards shelter, which for the most part actually is fairly sensitive into the zone. You have these options to try rotate on these high ground points. Yes, you can also go down below too, and it gives you that ability, even if you can't defend that central point from all of these teams coming around you later on, you can still go back underground and try to survive.
Yeah, definitely, man. But again, I don't know if you noticed in the kill feed, one of the men from Bullock got ran over by one of the player from Fenerbahce, so that's quite sad life, kind of a moment for a team like Bullock. They're now left with only 3 players alive in the game. And Rise as well, Nunes taking a couple of shots back onto himself, was trying to pop the tires off the vehicle in the front. Has a little bit of glimpse of it, but Knights now, it seems like they're on the aggressive page. It's Coops trying to gather a little bit of info on the players of Rise, but Rise as well, they're not really overstepping themselves. And Exit on a water rotation on the right side of Nova Reply. I do want to see how they're going to be making it happen because there is Aton who might just get their eyes on a team like Exit.
Still, you're looking, I think, towards Exit making that swim around. It's the only option they've got right now to mill to power. They can't cross that bridge yet. It's completely surrounded. It's Team Queso. They tried to go for that slight edge play towards that closer eastern bridge side. Instead, Furious Gaming, they went towards the west and they met in the middle and Triggers in. He'll feel that pain. He'll feel being the man in the middle, the little piggy between those two Team Queso members. Is he'll suck up one more kill and make it number 5. This Team Queso, yes, they're on the high kill. They're on the highest on the leaderboard for kills, but they got the furthest distance to go. Yes, they're only 375 meters from zones just now. They can actually try to survive in that southern zone and potentially pray that it shifts back towards the south side again. But it's a women at prayer for Team Queso right now, because if they have to cross, and they've not crossed like Exet just now, it's going to be too long a task to actually survive into that late game part.
Exactly. Team Queso just camping that bridge for now. The left side of the bridge. Ayala now finally makes the go call happen. Team Queso. It's going to be a late rotation inside the zone. Hopefully they have the intel to work with, or hopefully that's going to be helping them out alive and making it inside that next zone. Footballist, they found themselves in quite a good position, I would say, but they're still yet to find a compound for themselves. They shouldn't really be that big of a deal because they are right in the smack center, I would say, and the zone as well. Moving on the left side, that's quite a huge curveball being thrown on a lot of teams because a lot of teams were kind of camping near the Milta side, and now the teams that are over there, they will have to move all the way on the left side, and you can already see the wave of vehicles coming in, and one of them is being Rise. They're being spotted by a team like Ghost, taking a couple of shots, not really feeling the bullets of pain. And Rise now, one man being taken down. Gary falls apart. That's not really a great kind of a start for a team like Rise. Gary being taken out. Rise now left with only 3 players in the game to work with. And now Bullock as well. Just take a look at this. So many teams are getting caught in those rotations. They just don't have any other choice. They want to make sure they're making it inside the zone as quick as possible. And Footballist with the high ground, making sure they're punishing a team like Bullock. Madon as well, catching a couple of bullets onto himself, and he will also be taken down. Lutz is able to do so much damage, and Footballist, it's understandable why they have so much confidence inside the game. Rias as well is the final man alive, but not anymore. Rias being taken out the game. That's going to be it for a team like Bullock on the 14th position. Not off to a great start, Jake.
I think for here, you're looking towards some of these teams like Blue Chaptan, and they just get absolutely wiped, making these over-aggressive plays because they're trying, like we said with Na'Vi, this problem of rushing in late into the zone because of these hard shifts. You're looking at a problem now that can Na'Vi also, who have made it slightly late, control this zone? Because yes, they've actually got this zone. They've got a brilliant position on that northern side, but it's not as great as you think because they don't have the information inside of this zone because they've only just entered it. Keep in mind, if they're facing similar problems such as Team Queso running in, and this is going to be the problem because of these harder shifts, teams aren't generally going to have that much information, and as a result, they're not going to be able, therefore, to make those as informed decisions and be able to make those safer plays based on positioning alone.
Oh man, Exit still though. Look at that. They're out in the blue zone. They're also going to be taking quite a lot of damage onto themselves. Furious Gaming, one of those teams. This game is quite important for a team like Furious Gaming. Let's just see how they're able to survive their way up to the leaderboards. But yeah, Team K, so right next to them, they've gotten themselves a compound, at least for now. Na'Vi, one of those teams, we do know the problem is their late rotations, but they still have all 4 of their players alive, so at least they're going to be feeling decent inside this game. But yeah, this is the final game, and you do want to make sure you're ending the day on a good note. And Na'Vi is one of those teams. Definitely kind of the struggle is being shown from their side. But take a look at the circle shifts.
Oh,
Knights find themselves right in the center, and this might just be another Knights game.
This is a disaster of a zone. It's been hard shifted like a ping pong ball, a table tennis match back and forth here. And then phase number 4, oh, it gets even worse. Nice. Yes, they're in the center, but look at all of those teams on the outside. Team Queso, they just landed inside that zone. They got to get back in their vehicles and get hot shoots time, 100 miles per hour, hot fire down into that zone is where they got to go because they've got a long way, just like Na'Vi. The Sheiksis, one of those teams though, they are going at that fire speed and they are going to make it inside a zone. Risky, but they survive another day. They have to continue to look for that push because that place right now, that one shack they've got, not a great spot at all. They're going to be vulnerable to so many of these teams, as we said, rotating further in onto that zone, as well as the fact you cannot move from there. They're stuck in this position. It's an unrotatable spot between the rest of Fenerbahce and Atom up above them.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, Besiktas, they're just being pinned down in that shack. The only cover they have to work with is that initial shack and then a little bit of smokes to work around with, but still, the smokes aren't going to be blocking those bullets, and this nade from the side of Aton might just make it, and yes, it does! Choco finds one. Resen falls down from the side of Besiktas, was outside the shack, and got taken down instantly. Another nade following it up, but this time it's not really going to be landing on the mark. Resen should be back up on his feet in no time, and Besiktas should be feeling decent after that one. But look at this Team Queso making quite a risky rotation. Ayala catching a lot of bullets on himself, but this time he's not going to be able to make it out alive, as Lovazin is going to be the man who takes care of it. But on the other hand, Footballers as well, they're getting eaten alive from a squad like Furious Gaming.
Footballers, they do have to watch their behind flankers. Furious Gaming, they will find him as Team Queso. They find Revenge, and Neen will take down Lutz, and Lutz will die. There's Big Milo with the help of Rema. There he goes, there's no escaping it. Now only Lovazin remains. He's up against Ayala. Keep in mind, there's still those Team Queso members in the Lovazin, though he's preoccupied taking those extra kills before he goes down on against the rest of Furious Gaming. Nate will kill him out.
Oh. Footballist out from the game with only 6 points in their hand, but at least they've gotten 6 points. S2G got taken down to like 0 points, including a team like Eastern Stars as well and Bullock. But yeah, Footballist, they got themselves 7 points. That's quite a decent outing, I would say, from a final game. But now Team Queso, they do realize the threat has still not been silenced. They still need to take care of a team like a Furious Gaming. And we did see Big Milo right behind him. He's taking quite a long rotation. He does not want any kind of bullets onto himself. He does not want any fights to happen, at least for now. He does realize he's the only man alive from the squad of Furious Gaming, so he wants to take things a little safe, a little cautiously. But look at this, the charge-in's coming in from the side of Team Queso. They do realize this is their opportunity to try and get those kills. If they don't, well, that's going to be a free kill, not really being secured from their side.
But Supermassive Blazer stole it. They just sniped the kill. It was Kusara on the edge of the world who steals that one. And Team Queso, it feels bad, man. As you say, they got robbed. They're in the vault of the rest of Furious Gaming, and Supermassive Blazer came in, like, just completely took it. Is that zone goes once more away from everyone else. If Fenerbahce, yes. We're going to have that center of zone towards them. Knight's not so comfy anymore. Is that zone so tricky, though? The road straight down the middle, trapping these teams in between whichever side they choose. And now Tixie, in that fight, he has to choose this fight. There's no other option about it, and he can't find the shots. He can't find the bullets. Mythic, he'll take him out and return for Team Queso. They snipe that one straight on back.
Oh, guess what? But Navi as well, they fall down. At least one man from Navi falls down. The circle has been throwing curveballs after curveball. It's been taking hard shifts. It's been so unpredictable so far. I don't really blame the teams as well. It's just the circle being kind of like the spawn spot, I would like to say. But now Navi looking to charge in forward against a team like Ghost. They want to take over the compound. But Ghost as well, they haven't really made their mark inside the zone. It's still outside the zone. And Matic being found with that nade. Kitsune as well is down quite low. Needs to patch himself back up. Mekyu doing this exact same thing, but the problem is, Ghost, they also have a little bit of high ground to work with against a team like Navi, and now Queso looking to third party this entire situation, but they're getting dismantled by a team like Knights.
Team Queso wiped off the face of the planet by Knights, but Ghost is still in the fight. It's only the background we see Team Queso for, because Navi is still desperate to make this push as the nades run out. Now Ghost, they take the vehicles and they leave. They know that they're outside of the zone and they're going to go for a better position to continue to gatekeep away Navi. They will all get away for now as they stop on the tracks as Navi look to shoot them down. But look who else is in the party. Knights, they just secured 4 and they're looking for even more as Ghost. Where do they go? Now Navi, they just leapfrogged them and it's Ghost in the back foot. It's Ghost sandwiched between everyone right now.
Oh, Ghost, they don't really have that good of a dip for themselves. They're catching a lot of nades onto themselves, but still, they're quite lucky that the nades aren't really making that connection happen. Beowulf has a little bit of vehicle to work as a cover, but again, he's not really safe from a team like Navi. If Mekyu decides to expose himself and go for a little bit of aggressive stance against a team like Ghost. They can fall apart, but falling apart is going to be Supermassive Blaze. Took quite a lot of damage. 2 players were down, but well, guess what? They're able to put the final man to sleep from a team like Nextruya. Nextruya being taken out the game with only 2 points in hand. And now take a look at this. Na'Vi getting third party. They're getting backstabbed.
Still, Na'Vi, they're surviving, barely 1 player alive, but Ghost are also, they're surviving 1 player alive here, Necro. It's all teams on 1 player alive, and Knights, oh, they're looking at 3 kills from Ghost, they're looking at 3 from Na'Vi, and they're saying, this looks pretty beautiful to me. Is Na'Vi, Matix, taken straight back down again the moment he steps up above by Aton inside of the zone. From the long range, no one can move from this spot, and I fear they're Knights. They're not making that push. They're not making advantage of a situation, and he may just fall down like Ghost, like Na'Vi, because you, of course, have that zone going away from them. And there's only 20 seconds before you have to face the fire of course, Aton, of course, Besiktas further ahead inside of that phase 7.
Knights can literally try and sweep out this entire playground in front of them. They have the compound to work with. They also have a little bit of peaks to work with. Na'Vi can still be a little bit of threat. They have all 3 players alive in the game. If they manage to even find 1 knock on the players of Knights, that's going to be putting them in a little bit of panic mode. But Ghost, yeah, the fallen man needs a hand. He will get one. He's back up on his feet now. Beowulf is kind of exposed. If he gets spotted by any of the players from Knights, I feel like that's going to be it for a team like Ghost, because Beowulf is feeding them a lot of intel. But on the other hand, Na'Vi, again, they're getting shot at from the backlines. But guess what? The charging comes in through from a team like Aton against Besiktas. The silence finally breaks, but I do want to see, is the threat being silenced by a team like Aton? It seems like, yes, it is.
It is. It's a full wipe from Besiktas. In Sun HP, you see how fast and how far he just ran out of air. Aton, they take the fight for nothing lost. In Na'Vi, they've got everything to lose on the edge of the zone. Matic going down low so much more. So once again, he will drop. And Aton, they silence Na'Vi. They don't let them move. They don't let them breathe inside of this zone. And they've not even got into the zone at that. It's Aton, such control. The trio, you're also looking now though. Fenerbahce in the fight versus, of course, Knights defending their position strong. They take down 1, Knights down only to Chico. Is Knights a failed attempt in amongst, of course, so many of these teams. Chico, he drops back down though. He does find it. Fenerbahce, oh, hold my words, as they will be eliminated though by the solo of Chico. How does it allow to be that way? But finally, as he works on top of Fenerbahce, there comes Supermassive Blaze to clean them up. Kisune still down. Still Na'Vi down to a solo as Supermassive Blaze continue to fight. It's fighting on both fronts.
Oh man, Supermassive Blaze. Now it's time for second wave, Chico. You better be ready for this one. Supermassive Blaze looking to find him, but Chico for now, he is hiding inside this little shack. He's going to try to boost himself back up as well. He isn't really looking that good with the HP. Molotov inside the shack flushes him out of that comfort zone. And well, he will also be taken down. But guess what? The kill being stolen from a team like Na'Vi. And now this is what I call a complete robbery. And now Matic as well finds another one from the team of Supermassive Blaze. Now keep this in mind. Both these teams still need to make it inside the zone. And this is where Aton are going to be having a huge advantage. But Shikta's still left with 1 more man alive. He can try and grief Aton's game.
Aton, no. They just have a few more small steps for all such big men to be able to come back into that zone. And what a big fat chicken dinner it would be for them. Well, so many so far as now they'll drop. That nade lands true. Down to our final 3 teams of Besiktas, Supermassive Blaze, Aton. It's all down to them. Aton getting lit up by Supermassive Blaze, but we will dodge out for now as they continue to push across. Shoko will be able to find the crossing successfully. Supermassive Blaze will hold up for now, and meanwhile, Sun HP, that solo player, of course, takes a fight, but he can't find it, gets spotted, gets taken out, and we're down to our final 2 here. Supermassive Blaze making the push, Aton still waiting, they're still prepping, and Supermassive Blaze are not waiting.
Oh man, Supermassive Blaze, yeah, as you mentioned now, Aton on the charge. This threat was being silenced from a team like Aton. And now Aton, they're looking pretty good inside this zone, but Supermassive Blaze able to make their mark inside the zone, so they will also be feeling a little good. But Aton overall, I feel like they still have a little bit of better positioning compared to Supermassive Blaze, but Supermassive Blaze can always try and wrap around things over here. Tron is still saved, but guess what? One man from Supermassive Blaze falls down. He catches that nade. He swallows that one. But Cardi, on the other hand, the trades are there back and forth. And Astar trying to create an off angle. He goes on to the other side. And this might just be a brilliant play from the side of Aton. He's trying to confirm the kill on the Coursera. I think he's going to be able to do so. But Savian's position is still unknown. Keep this in mind.
Savian, he's got such a long way to go. Yes, his position is unknown, but how does he take the fight there, Necro? He's on the opposite end of the road. He can't get into the fight. It's all about Tron right now to 1v2 Shuko and also Cardi, but he's got Asta. That's the problem. They found a flank in Asta. As soon as he pops his head up, Tron, Asta can shoot him down. You can see as Savian also tries to cross. Asta's such a brilliant position, but he is getting swallowed by a couple of shots himself, as he will go behind a rock as one means of protection. Cardi, Shuko doing the same, trying to make that flank happen, trying to circle around Supermassive Blaze as they dance for the final chicken dinner. It's a tango between the final 5 players.
Oh man, finally Asta now being spotted. Asta does exactly know where the 2 players are. Savian's position being compromised. He's trying to crawl back inside the zone. The nade's too good. It's perfect. Savian being taken down now. It's all down to Tron. All eyes on the man Tron. Supermassive Blaze left with only one last man alive. And look at this. Well, guess what? Aton are going to be taken down. The final man as well. And just like that, Aton find themselves the winner of the final game. And Aton really needed this one, Jake.
They really did. I mean, Aton, they struggled, right, coming through that first week. They needed this big step up in the first day. They find that big step up that they were looking for there, Necro. And what a nade. I mean, if I've ever seen one in this tournament to highlight clip, put it all on the socials, that's a nade right there. That's the game-winning finish. Explosion coming through from Aton, of course, cleaning up that 5th game chicken dinner. But Supermassive Blaze, to be fair to them, also rising up pretty strong. They're taking out Next Warrior on their journey through. They were stealing the kills, of course, through from Furious Gaming. They were doing work respectfully themselves.
But hey, nothing taken away from teams like Team Queso, Besiktas as well, Navi as well. They had quite a decent outing from that one. Besiktas, unfortunately, they got charged in from a team like Aton. But in the first place, I feel like if Besiktas had their eyes in the back lines, they could have made sure that Aton isn't really going to be having that easy of a push, right? Because Aton still needed to cross in through the open fields. And I don't understand how Aton was able to execute that so perfectly. Oh, well,
yeah, I think that definitely you're looking now at Aton moving through those fields, right? They come in from this one central building that they had. They were able to actually stop Besiktas because Besiktas, as we said, right, they were in this unrotatable position. They couldn't leave this spot, and you saw it. It was a survival spot coming through from Besiktas, which I think is curious to see, considering that actually Besiktas, I wanted to see a little bit more aggression from them. We know that they can be this aggressive team when they're on form, but it just wasn't the case here. They put themselves all the eggs in one basket, and as a result, Atom from there were able to push them down with obviously one of those members, Sun HP, starting to retreat from that unrotatable position and punishing for that. And as a result from there, as we said, Atom, they had that zone given over to them. Ghost, also many of these teams, I think on the outside though, we felt that zone. I mean, you have to echo back towards this game as a whole, right? The zone was so brutal when it came to switching its position back and forth every single time.
Zone. Yeah, the zone definitely was just so unpredictable, right? It always just kept on throwing those curveballs on these teams, and they always needed to move from one side to all the way up opposite side. But yeah, I just cannot get my mind off of the squad wipe that came in from that came in on the HTG. They got wiped out so quickly and so early in the game. I was like, I literally just blinked my eyes and I saw, okay, H2G is not really in the game anymore, and that was just such an unfortunate thing for a team like H2G, but it's fine. They're still doing pretty great. And yeah, this is how the Charger really did coming through. This nade knock that they found, that kind of put Besiktas into kind of like a little bit of panic set, kind of like a panic mode over there. And then Knights as well. That was a beautiful clutch from the side of Chico, but unfortunately, Supermassive Blaze took a heavy advantage of what exactly Chico was facing. They tried to third-party that entire situation, and Navi just stealing that kill of Chico from a team like Supermassive Blaze. Kind of a sad life right there.
It's made at the end. I mean, you see it, lad. What a whopper of a finish for Aton to be able to find that win, and it was execute Tron in the center between all three of them. I think, though, to be fair, it's a game of moves. It was a game of counter moves. You saw it even in the rotations of the teams, right? Na'Vi, Ghost, them driving past each other. Knights as well, countering out the rest of Fenerbahce. Gotta see what, though, like a chess game, kind of moves. That analyst desk thought about all of that.
Under the bus.
We are back looking to wrap it up. The final game of the evening. Week 2 League Play Day 1. West Side, Best Side 2021 PMGC. Let's check out the overall leaderboards. And Seven, I'm going to call you out, man. You said S2G are going to get the chicken dinner. Where they at, man? Where they at?
Listen, they're not even here. They're on that second page. And it was like a conflict of interest too, because there was another team that I called out for them to do well. Team Queso, they did amazing. They even ended up just eliminating S2G there. So I'll kind of give myself a pat in the back in a way. Shout out to somebody in the YouTube chat though. They deserve it. Ryan, he said S2G is gonna pretty much be eliminated within the first 5 minutes of the game. Sir, you were absolutely right. I don't know what you're on. You're on some glitter dumb stuff. Glitter, as we do have the MVP here, Asta.
Yeah, I mean, Atan getting a win to close out the day, right? They were one of those teams that we were kind of watching. And Asta does manage to get 869 damage for 5 elims. That is a massive 44% of that team contribution. So that is going to be huge for Asta. But I mean, I also do kind of want to call out, I know we saw those rankings pretty quickly, but Besiktas was another one at the top of the first page of that leaderboard that needed to get some points. Na'Vi did well. Queso did well. I mean, we called out all these squads that needed to step it up, and they did.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, and it's good that they did it here in the last game, right? It's good that they didn't really decide to win until tomorrow starts. Because we always talk about that. You don't want to win until the actual days. You're just trying to carry some of that momentum. We do have Dokun Machine being able to get 607 damage. And then we have Tron from SMB being able to collect their 583 damage. Overall, a good game. I mean, we're going back to it. Na'Vi, I'm glad that Na'Vi's here towards the top 2. That were able to get at least some Elim points. That were able to survive the fight that they were about to have with Ghost Gaming too. And something to keep in mind is Alpha 7 was not in that match. So it's good that Na'Vi was able to take advantage of that as we do go here towards the ranking. Knights being able to extend the lead a little bit. We're starting to see some pockets here. And Na'Vi, this is a huge surprise. I think this might be the first time ever throughout the tournament, last week of League Play, this Super Weekend, where we actually see Na'Vi within the top 10, Glitter.
That's what I was looking at. I mean, we do see Buluk Chaptan and Black Dragons drop down a little bit in favor of Atan and SMB, but Na'Vi has snuck their way in. They're right at the end for a top 10 spot in the first page. Fenerbahce moving up a couple ranks, but, you know, we see here, and I'm looking down at the bottom 7, like very single-digit level bottom. That's not where Ghost wants to be. Now, because hypothetically, say we took this top 16, Besiktas not in yet again. Mad Bulls out this time around. Queso not in again. And we've talked about it. We mentioned it. That could be disastrous for these teams. We all know if you don't make it in 2 weekends, it's almost impossible to try and come out from under that.
It definitely could. I mean, with Ghost Gaming, they're literally doing the exact same thing I think that they did in the first week of League Play, where they waited for the second day. And then so tomorrow, what I'm expecting from Ghost Gaming is I'm expecting them to do a lot of placement stuff like they were able to do yet on the first week of League Play. Just focus on getting points. That's pretty much what you need to. Remember what I said earlier? That cutoff point mark, in a way, was 41 points. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here. I'm going to be looking at the exact same cutoff point, seeing who's going to be able to get to that mark first.
Yeah, Besiktas really need to come out tomorrow, and same thing with Team Queso. But talk about coming out, ladies and gentlemen, the fan favorite. Don't forget about it, especially when we tune back in tomorrow. Play PUBG Mobile. Vote for your favorite PMGC team and players within the Esports Center. Watch live, unlock rewards. And we are just, screaming cash money all day long. And talk about cash money, the treasure box as well. PMGC exclusive treasure box in the Esports Center. Also, you get those PMGC tokens and unlock that tournament skin. So a lot of things on the line for the viewers to really enjoy here this season. And the keyword, tournament skin. So you keep that thing forever and you're looking fly. So talk about looking fly, just in case you are tuning in right now. Here's who won those chicken dinners here today. Thoughts?
Ooh, Alpha 7. I mean,
Yeah.
Alpha 7 being able to pretty much just dominate in a way with the chicken dinners, back-to-back chicken dinners, and Sanhok. When we're just talking about Sanhok alone, that's really impressive. I think tomorrow we're going to be playing Sanhok as well, so I'm going to be looking at Alpha 7. I also want to see those teams that we called out earlier.
Ghost Gaming, one of them for sure. Ghost Gaming, we saw last week kind of similar pathway. Tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them kind of just turtle up and focus on placement points only. Top 16 is the goal. So tomorrow, league play once again. But real quick, Seven and Glitter, before we send it off, shout out to you. Shout out to you for the hard carry. I appreciate you having me here on the desk. Maybe I'll be back for some more hosts, and you never know.
You will.
But ladies
You're
and
great.
gentlemen, PMGC 2021 West Side. See you tomorrow. Keep playing PUBG Mobile.